week.
Well, I can smell it on you. That's all I can
I haven't
say.
used it for weeks.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
You smell really good to me.
All right. Have we got enough people
That's
in the
all.
room for me to start a?
Would you like a hug? Would it make you feel better?
No, you can't hug him. It's COVID, not COVID safe.
No, he can smell what he can smell. It's
By the way,
not
David,
like,
eyes only for you.
who knows what it is?
It's all
Maybe you.
it's all those cigarettes. I'm
Maybe after
smoking.
all these years, you're finally producing a pheromone to make him go away.
Yes.
Maybe it's taken a long time, but
It's all the abuse. It's finally produced a genetic
you
reaction.
know.
Alrighty.
Why does it smell like wood varnish?
So, are we recording yet?
Yeah, well,
Good. Excellent. All right. So last time we were here, we had just arrived at Space Station Omega, which is the traditional name for wherever they're holding the space arm of the Stellar Games. Okay. So the Stellar Games include stuff on the ground and stuff in space, and the space arm of that is all run from Space Station Omega. Space Station Omega, in this case, happens to be built in an ancient Klingon orbital city, which just looks like any other Klingon city, complete with all the good things and bad things that may imply. And one important social nuance that the crew were told last time, which your character knows but you don't, is that in Klingon society, walking around unarmed is a faux pas. Okay? But because they don't want any incidents in this area, the Klingons have consented for them to put dampener fields around the space station so that at least in the top areas where the other species are going to be, there is no violence beyond a stun beam. You can still carry weapons of various, knife and impact type, and yes, there's not much you can do to stop them killing people, so they're still available. On hearing this, pretty much everybody picked out their own cultural weapon. So, for example, our science officer is carrying around a nasty African knobbed stick.
It's a very nice
You
knob
haven't
stick,
listened to
I
the
think.
podcast, have you? This explains why you're still
Because you're
talking to
lucky.
me.
Yeah, so everyone's basically walking with so much knives and stuff they clang.
I had a lot of fun with your character too.
It was assumed, by the way, that you'd be walking around carrying a nice Maori war club or something like that.
And a tiki.
Greenstone.
That's right, exactly. Okay, so the idea was I gave a bit of an option for the group to find out what they actually could do. And it was based on how well they observed, and they observed very well, so they got the chance to choose. And it turns out that there was a Klingon, a Ferengi, and a Romulan skulking around. And it turns out the Klingons were the ones that we approached, and they were inviting us out for lunch.
Was it lunch?
Well, dinner, very late dinner actually. And the idea is basically they're wanting to celebrate with us because they've worked out that we're going to be their main opposition. And so off we went. We ate Klingon food and we drank Klingon blood wine, and some people did better with that than others. At the end of that, they came back to the ship and they found that somebody was trying to skulk around the ship, a Klingon. And they managed to get on board and take scans of all our vital systems and what have you. But in the process of doing this, a tribble was detected. So, there we go. Have I missed anything? I think I've brought everyone up to speed.
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay, good.
The person was skulking around. Yeah, there was lots of about the trouble with him.
Oh.
More to the point, the person skulking around the ship had in fact inveigled themselves into the space station security, as I recall. And when it was discovered that they had in fact done this, security personnel was not happy with being made a fool of, and they were going to take steps.
All right. Okay, so we've got everybody here. It is the following morning after dinner with the Klingons. It would be fair to say some of you are very much the worse for blood wine, but you've taken the standard headache remedies and so forth, and they are starting to take effect. So you should be functional fairly soon. Meanwhile, let me see.
What are you doing?
Making milk.
You found it with the first time, so it just made me want to do it more.
By the way, we probably need our character sheets so that we know what we're doing.
He's
Oh.
been.
They're in such a nice, neat pile, though.
They are, aren't they? It almost seems a pity. But there you go. Now,
You tidied up.
No, that was what it was like before.
So get your character sheets out.
Tidying.
How many? Remember how many
I got
fate
your
points
fate
you've got?
points, by the way. Don't ask what I had to do to
I
get
don't
them.
think mine's in
Have
there.
more.
It's just extra.
You have a folder.
Yes, I do have I seem to have an extra one.
That's extra? Is that my stuff? Something.
Can do a bargain.
When you know how many fate points you got, sing out.
I can't remember.
4.
Viscount Network. You Viscount? No, you're not Viscount. No. That's
Here's your
him.
fate
That's
points.
him. Well, you took it off me after I said the words.
It's
It's your
a
fault.
character in my game.
Garothy.
I don't think my character
Garothy.
fits in
I
here.
don't know what this
We
word
make them all separate.
means.
It's a stupid name you made up.
I don't seem to have
I think
mine.
it's Ravenbeak.
You
Extra
have
dumb.
them
Yes, it is. Deliberately so.
Oh, hello. Here's
all. You got them all.
here's Ray, and he's got 5 fate points.
There you go, see? Still got some more fate points. You're welcome.
Whoa, it's a character sheet. It's filled out and everything.
You've got 3 fate points.
Thank you.
Oh, don't wave that thing.
No, I've got 6.
Tell me this bad.
Oh, no,
news.
3.
Who goes to Ray, please? That's Ray's.
I'll take 3.
Did someone on the team?
There you go, mate. Yes,
Yes, please.
Well, I fell over, so it's
There's your
Ray, thank you.
I've had an old man episode. Yeah, of course.
There's yours, Dave. No, not Dave.
That's
What?
me.
Oh, this is me.
That's you.
Great.
And how many you got? You got 4.
4. Yes.
Now, a reminder of how the fate system works. These are not like wiener points. These aren't supposed to be hoarded until the last possible moment. There's supposed to be a constant tide going back and forth of these
That'll
things.
require
We're
rolling.
never ever going to adjust.
I sadly I fully agree with that. You know, according to this, I've got 4,
Okay,
merely 4.
But also,
nearly 4.
But
also- you don't really need to. We could be using wiener points much more often than we actually do.
That's true.
This is from
How many do you have? Sorry.
just 4.
Don't make it comment. Don't make it comment.
Don't make me roll an
This is
easy
why
one.
D&D doesn't have wiener points.
Oh, but I so want to.
Okay, who else? Who has not got this? Let's have a look.
Benji.
Benji and Boozy.
Yes.
Spelljammer. I will use Wiener.
My character.
He's going to
There's
be running
yours.
Spelljammer next. Spelljammer.
What's that?
Spelljammer.
Oh,
Yes,
God,
keep
really?
saying it. Keep saying it. That'll help me.
D&D.
To get more good. No,
D&D.
I actually know what
Space.
Spelljammer is. It's the naval,
What?
the space naval version of D&D.
Yeah.
What
Actually,
the
this
hell?
is the
Yeah, no,
swashbuckling
none of it
in
makes
space
sense.
version of the
Spelljammer.
Yes.
Almost,
When you know what it is, none of it makes sense.
almost literally none of it.
So we're not going to do Doctor Who next time? We'll just-
I think not.
Okay.
I'll just have a once-off
Yeah.
with Spelljammer. We'll
See how
see
you
how
go.
that goes.
Sure. That'll
Who's
be fun.
next, by the way? Is it me?
I believe it
If
is
it's
you.
you, then it's
but
me,
I
because the
will
days run
check.
together.
I will check.
Like wolves in a wolf pack.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because we're wolf brothers, bro.
Aren't we?
David Nippers. It's
Wolf
followed,
brother.
followed by David Stroud.
They told you the days run together.
Followed by Saxon.
We follow the herds.
We
What
do.
game are you going to...
Last time I went before
Following.
Saxon because he wasn't ready for whatever reason.
Sounds like he has an idea now.
Then he should be ready then when it's his turn.
Yes. Get ready, Saxon. It's only half a year away.
I'm,
Unless we have another COVID lockdown.
I don't see how that would stop you.
I swear, if we have another COVID lockdown, we're still role playing.
We will
I
actually
don't care
carefully
what I need to
investigate online
It'll be
video
against the
playing.
wall for one thing.
We hardly ever use maps anyway. Watch, John will go map heavy now, but we hardly ever. We could have easily role played over Zoom.
Oh, he's finally making his point. We're getting there.
I got into trouble for that. When you bring it
What?
up, you bastard.
You got in trouble for what?
I hate you.
You always have.
Wow.
What's changed?
Okay, that went dark. Okay, right now with all that going,
Yes.
Pete,
Dave.
this dude, Dave, yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Dave
you roll
Pete.
on notice, please?
Roll a notice show.
I've just picked a random person, and by God, it was you.
Are you using like some kind of body wash, like manly
Oh,
body
Jesus,
wash?
not this
stuff?
again.
I'm using Pamela Gold's.
Notice I've got
Okay.
3 in notice.
I'm just asking.
I'll just stop
With
using
4,
deodorant.
with
when I'm
extra
going to-
Okay.
Use this.
I've made it great.
What I'm saying is, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
Yeah.
All I know is that it's annoying. You know, like
I'll,
it's
I'll,
upsetting.
I
You
just
know
want.
it's him and not one of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very easy. It's definitely because I moved seats and now I'm fine.
It's gone. You prefer urban smell to Pete.
So what deodorant do you use? Irvin?
Unscented.
Tradies
Mitchum?
get the ladies. Don't use tradie
Hell,
underarm.
where did that come from?
Thinking of ads I've seen recently with
You know
underarm.
how tradies absolutely reek of body odor and deodorant
And
simultaneously?
beer. Don't forget the beer.
And sometimes
You
cigarettes
used to
as
say
well.
I smelled of soap.
Yes,
Yeah,
Everything's
sometimes
changed.
you did.
If only-
Actually,
if only you
sometimes
did.
you did have a really strong smell of
If
soap.
only you did, I
Like-
wouldn't have a problem.
Like nursing home kind of smell of soap.
Yeah.
Okay, can we stop hassling poor old Peter? He's getting a complex.
Well, I still use the same soap I've always used. Which is
Well, okay, the only reason I asked is, what I'm doing is I'm trying to be
I know,
helpful.
I know.
I know it's my problem, and I don't want it to be other people's problem, but it's just, you know.
But you need to kind of tell me these things.
Well, that's why I'm telling you.
Mitchum.
Can we do it when we're not on camera, please?
No, we need a record
no,
of
we
it.
have to do it when we're on camera.
Okay, I
We
didn't,
need people to comment.
sorry, I didn't realise. I wasn't thinking about it.
All good. Okay, now, he has just rolled for notice.
Yes.
Okay,
What do I
now,
notice?
what it turns out is that you happen to spot...
Mm.
Hang on, where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to find where I'm supposed to
Occurs
be.
to me.
Mitchum, it's called.
I should probably grab a
Would
pair
you
of
get
dice
a
if I'm going to be an
Mitchum,
exile.
as in like Robert.
Now, unfortunately, we are light one set of fake dice.
Oh, it's okay. We can
So
share.
you're going to do a bit of sharing.
I'll
Yeah,
buy
of
some
course.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Okay.
Peter. Ray and I will share these, won't we, Ray?
Yes, David.
Okay, righto.
But it
So,
might be, I don't know, you like your laundry detergent. I don't know what it is.
It could be my laundry too, but I'm still using Omo, which I've used for
Oh, well,
years.
then probably
Well, that's a
not.
good plug for Omo. Right there.
Omo does not repulse Dave. Don't use it.
But honestly, that stuff I find so toxic. It might literally be a residue in your clothes. It's just lasting ages. It's literally.
Maybe, but this has been. I don't know. It's been through at least once.
Oh, there you go.
Because I mean, this is the first time I've worn this.
Look, to be honest, it
It's
wasn't particularly strong compared, but I noticed it and I thought,
Maybe it's got it off other clothes.
yeah. For me, my sensitivity to it is so high. I just
Yeah, I'm sorry. What I'll do is I'll find all the ones that I've still got lying around, which I've got 2 of, and I'll throw them out. That at least will eliminate one thing from the equation.
Yes.
okay, you guys are all outside of the starship, stretching your legs or, I don't know, nailing down the deck plating or whatever the hell you guys do when you're not on board the ship. It is a bit of a...
We've all got COVID now.
Maybe it just permeates my entire bedroom.
Now you're just being a pain, don't you?
Stop. You know, you could have stopped.
Well, I kind of keep my deodorant by my bed on a little table thing, so I'm thinking maybe it's kind of leaking out of the bottle.
You
or
are
something.
standing out.
I don't know.
How would it?
You are standing outside the starship.
Put it this way, I can still smell the
Fuck
fragrance
me.
in the curtains.
I've been poisoning for weeks and you haven't told
Yeah,
me.
no.
You're doing this deliberately, aren't you? You rang up each other on the
Quick,
telephone
quick.
and you arranged this as a burlesque
I would have
act.
my scent on you.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay, now, meanwhile, you are standing outside the starship.
Maybe if you opened a window, it'd help. Fresh air would come in.
Then he'll just poison the entire suburb.
I can't smell it from over here, it's fine.
Okay.
You're standing outside the
Yep.
starship. You're doing whatever the hell. I don't know what you're doing, but it's some excuse to have you all in the one place.
Okay.
Now, you think you're being watched. David looks around and he notices something. He notices the two Romulans. By the way, if he'd have rolled badly, you'd have only noticed one.
Romulans.
Okay.
He'd have noticed that two Romulans who were skulking around previously are back again. Now, just so you guys know what these guys look like.
They're the ones who wear the credit cards.
You what's in now, see?
How
They
far,
wear
how
credit
far away
cards.
are they, Jono, from where I am?
They are suspiciously close to the ship.
Okay.
Shoot
But
them.
from
Shoot
me,
them.
are they like 15 feet? Are they 10 feet? Are they...
To touch our ship is to touch death. I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
Okay, that sounds a bit Klingon-y, but you know what? Why not?
We are deaf ship. First
I'm
rule of
presuming
deaf ship.
correct me if I'm wrong, but with the starships this size, I'm presuming we're not actually kind of sitting on it. It's not sitting on a deck. It's kind of floating, and we've kind of got
Right,
gantries
where am I?
around it.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
that's just what they look like.
I think we're held in place by magnetic clamps.
Yeah, that too.
Yes, you are, by magnetic clamps. And magnetic clamps have got the ship held right where it should be.
Okay.
Good.
Meanwhile, you've seen the first of these two Romulans skulking around outside. But what Teacher Dave has noticed is there's a second Romulan skulking around behind a bunch of crates.
Okay.
A second or a third?
A second.
Second.
So there's only two of them. Now, as soon as
Yes,
she
his
realizes
descriptions are
that Dave's noticed her, she bolts away.
It's a woman. Don't let her escape.
And so, because the security officer immediately doesn't want to let anybody, it's the ancient instinct of police officers and security officers everywhere. If somebody runs away, what do? You chase them.
No, I'm an American. I shoot and then reload.
Well, you know that's not going to do jack after your attempt with the Tribble last time.
How
did
else
you?
am I going to shoot someone 13 times in the back?
That's true. Meanwhile, as you chase her,
Sorry.
Okay, so he's off.
when you chase her,
See you later.
she pushes over a pile of the crates,
Oh, I
and
love,
boom, down they come.
I
and
love this trope.
You
Jump
are blocked.
Can't I
Jump
leap them?
Oh, okay.
Make an attempt to leap it.
Oh.
Roll on athletics.
I'd love to see you fall on your ass. This will be funny.
Oh, what is it?
Isn't that physique?
Physique? Yeah, physique.
Yeah, okay.
Do
You
you,
can jump.
do you have any special power
I'm
jump?
going to get some tea while he jumps.
I think that. Hang on. Is that
Can
one?
you-
No, don't get up, bro. You don't need to move.
Your space ninja
Alright.
power. You will roll for it first and see if you want to do it again. Okay, roll for physique.
That's
Holy
plus
monopoly.
2, and my physique is free, making it 5.
You make an amazing jump. You handspring over
It's so much room.
and you land beautifully. You get you get a 9 from the Russian judge. It would be magnificent, but nonetheless, it is just too far for you to go, and she's managed to run away.
Okay.
Oh, bugger.
And the other Romulan comes down.
If she didn't look at, she lost.
The other Romulan, the one who didn't run away, walks over to you, pushes crates out of the way, grabs you by the, gives
Did
you
I
a
put the milk away,
masculine
didn't I?
monkey grip,
That's good.
pulls you up and says,
Consistent with me.
I am terribly, terribly sorry. I'm sorry you nearly got injured there. I hope you're okay.
I'm wonderful.
I accidentally bought unhomogeneous.
I'm glad you're
milk, so I
wonderful.
was shaking the
Now
shit.
here, let me get you back, help you get back to your ship.
That sounds
So,
great.
Cream might
I
rise to
didn't
the
know whether
top.
you
This
had
man
any,
hasn't
so I
put a
thought-
bug on me or
Cream might
anything.
rise to the top.
I was
It
thinking
often
exactly
does,
the same
Dave.
thing.
It often does.
Roll for notice.
Do I have to roll for this? I think I checked myself anyway.
What, have you been stabbed now?
I failed to notice the obvious bug he's put on me, but I'm going to get myself scanned the moment I get
Well,
back to my ship.
there's no obvious bug on you.
Don't care, I'm going to get myself
But
scanned.
the Romulan is still standing
no,
there,
no.
all obsequious politeness and everything.
This was such a setup. I'm going to get myself scanned.
Who's done?
Saxon.
Saxon, can I have a donut?
Yes, sir.
No. Okay.
I think they're Coles
Okay.
donuts. Are
Thank
they
you,
Coles
sir. I'm
donuts?
now going to
They must
return
be
to
Coles
my
donuts.
ship.
You got them from Coles. I
All
know.
right. And
What was?
he stands.
Oh, did you get him
He
a
still
McCoy
stands there watching your ship as you
When I
walk
left
back.
work, I simply went across the road and grabbed them.
I must now get myself scanned immediately.
You go onto the ship and you get.
No, I think I'm going to scan myself at the gangway before I enter the ship.
Okay.
What just happened? Oh, is he paying?
He chased someone, he fell over. Someone else helped him, now he thinks they've put a bug on him.
Oh. Why?
He-
Why do we think this? Maybe.
Because the
Because
whole
it's
thing
Romulans.
screams setup.
whole
Romulans cannot
thing-
be trusted.
Is just dodgy.
Science
They are
officer.
master chess players.
I call the science officer
kind
dude
of
to come out and
racist.
scan me.
Yes, all of them are.
Is there much day left?
There is not one Romulan who isn't a master
yeah,
chess
third
player.
one.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
Is the science officer dude coming to scan me?
Then Jimbusi, you've been asked if you can come and scan him.
Oh, sorry.
Come and scan me for
I'm the
bugs
science officer.
and mics and listening devices and possible explosives.
Okay, science roll.
He might smell funny. Check him.
Smells like wood varnish, and I don't like it.
Sorry.
What's my science officer?
You being the science officer will probably be close.
4.
4. Okay, that is an excellent roll. You scan him thoroughly, and there is no bug on him at all.
No electronics whatsoever.
No electronic devices whatsoever.
That's even more suspicious.
Also, I have. Oh shit!
He's injected you with tardigrades.
Also, I have.
It could be.
I have the elite hacker
could be a
skunk,
microbo.
Okay.
which
Yep.
means I can use
Very
science
big.
and certain security when I override a computer's security, just in case that's relevant.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say you.
I already
So I
wrote
can-
science.
You've
I
already
think the doctor-
you've already absolutely
Yeah,
smashed
oh,
that one. so-
Okay, my next option is get the doctor to check me out for foreign microbes.
Okay. You go to the doctor. Hang on.
First, you need to
And
stand on the
any-
balcony
And any signs of tissue removal.
while we spray, while we hose you down
A
with
paranoid
orange paint.
thought occurs. The triple couldn't be detected by scanners either.
Yeah, what if with that triple?
I
We have to
don't
work
think
out the
Romulans are beaming undetectable triples onto the,
The
ship.
doctor has run every single type of scan she knows, and she
The wrong
cannot
ones
find
are
any way that you have been any way tampered with.
When we find out we tampered with ladies, it's going to be such BS.
Okay.
Will you have a rant?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I find that hard to believe.
The Romulan
Silence. I smell of wood varnish.
Romulan is still standing outside, still staring at you guys.
Day-to-day carving is
One Romulan is.
One Romulan. Well, the first one ran away. One of them ran away.
His garage.
One of them
It's like inside he's crying now.
So who's the one that helped him up?
Now I'm going to go home and deface
The
it.
same one he was
Set it on
chasing.
fire.
Sorry, what was that question?
So a Romulan helped him up. That was the same one he was chasing.
No.
No, the
The
other
one,
one.
the one ran away. The female
Yeah.
one ran away. The
Yeah.
male one helped them up.
I know the right one to chase.
Right, but there's still one.
Still one staring at the ship.
There's 3. There was 3.
No.
No, there was.
There
only
were 2.
It's like the room.
One was
Yeah.
openly staring at the ship.
Yeah.
The other one was hiding behind a bunch of.
Yes, the one
crates.
behind a bunch of crates bolted.
That's the one.
Yeah, he
The one-
chased her.
He chased her,
Mm.
and very suspiciously, a pile of crates just fell down, so
Yeah.
he couldn't keep chasing her.
Yeah.
Why
The
did
other
she run away?
Romulan came and helped him up,
Yes.
and he's still staring at the ship right now.
Why did the other one run away?
He took something off me.
What?
Well, what are you missing?
We're looking for something. He didn't add something. He took something. What am I missing?
Your wallet.
As I said before, have you checked for any tissue removal?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, they
They went to the doctor for that
Right.
very thing.
Okay, my notice is crap.
So you haven't noticed anything going missing.
If it's something obvious like my data pad or my wallet,
You
I
would
would
notice.
I would notice
Why did she run away?
because she wanted me to chase her.
Happens to him all the time.
You were standing next to them?
No,
So they just
he
bolted
saw
one
them
way.
and
Okay, I'm going to go through this scenario one more time, just so people have got
I
the idea.
kind of remember you going through it. I still don't.
there were
So-
20. There were
so he
27
didn't get very
Romulans.
far.
I was about to say
before
there
he
were
fell
3.5 Romulans.
No, there wasn't. In a bar. One said to the other.
Run.
They were drinking something blue. Anyway,
And 2, you looked at them and she ran away.
Yeah.
He just
she
continued,
noticed she'd been seen, and she bolted.
but he just stood there.
Yeah.
He just stood there and
You
helped.
ran past her to get
No,
him.
No.
You ran
him.
past him to get
I
her.
wouldn't.
to her.
Yes.
If anything,
She pushed a crate on top of you.
if anything,
No, I jumped the crates. She pushed the crates in front of me.
I think if
jumped her.
anything, you're
So you
crediting
got
the Romulan
No,
with
she
far too
slowed
much.
me down enough so I couldn't catch her.
Okay.
I think you're missing the most obvious reason the Romulan might have grabbed you and helped you up.
You fell over.
He was being nice.
Could well be that there was somebody running away, and he wanted to run interference for that person. Maybe.
No,
See, chess players always moving.
always me.
But
Do you
she
still
did-
have your wallet?
I would check. That's the first thing I check. I still have my wallet.
Check all the chess
The Romulan does not think that a Federation officer
Did
is
you
going to
ask
have
this
anything
guy
worth
why she
stealing.
was running? Like, why did your companion run away? Why did you?
What's a
My
Star Trek
companion.
wallet?
No.
So I'm engaged
We don't
to
use
her
money.
now.
Well, whatever, you go chase
Maybe
him.
But I was dating your
that's the closest
daughter.
thing I know.
Barcode
Can
on
you
the
leave
forehead.
They don't have
That's
currency.
some sick fantasy
Sorry?
you made up
They
in your
don't
own
have
mind.
currency.
Maybe if you're carrying a bag
They
of
don't
I
have
thought it was
currency.
his. He gave me
be
your
carrying
character
a
sheet
bag
and
of
told me it was
gold-plated
his.
latinum.
What kind of socialist utopia
But
is
only,
this?
only Ferengi care about Latinum.
Well, this was.
Gold-plated latinum.
It was a
Gold
socialist
press
utopia that had a real problem when they
Gold
wanted to
press
do some
latinum.
episodes where they talked about the evils of capitalism. Because how do you do that when nobody's capitalist? But anyway,
They don't use money. They use
So they
credit.
invented a-
It
they
doesn't like
invented,
money at all.
they invented the.
It's like cowrie shells, though, and pigs.
Indeed. But anyway, are you going to do
And a
anything or are you just
dog
going to let this guy stare at your ship?
What are we going to do?
Well, are you near him? Who's
No,
near
I'm
him?
back in the. I'm on the gangplank being scanned by half the crew.
Okay,
You're
I'll
villain
walk
guy.
up to him
Yep.
Cool.
and I say to him, "Can I help you?"
I very much doubt it, human.
And then, what are you doing staring at our ship?
My
Romulan.
business, my
Maybe
friend,
they're
is my
entering
own.
I'm not going to stoop to his level
Why
of
not?
calling out species.
You
My
might
bu-
be confused.
My business, my friend, is my own, though it is not in any way related to you, your ship, or the race, be told.
Good, then you can leave.
Excuse me, I'm accustomed to being insulted by Klingons, but until now Starfleet have at least treated us with surprising courtesy. See that you do not transgress the bounds of good manners, or your superiors will be notified of your breach of diplomatic standards.
I'm your superior.
Yeah, I know.
Have you given him an order, or are you just watching this happen?
You should just go.
I'm in my office typing up reports.
Oh, we can break into your office.
I love the fact that he goes straight for breaking into your office rather than
Just
maybe you
knocking
can
on
call
the
the
door
captain
and
down. Yeah.
Come in.
Might need some captain down here.
Apparently, Australian universities have shrunk by 10%.
I'm about to.
That surprises me not.
Staff
You just wanted to
wise.
engage
terms
in
of staff
conversation.
No.
Fair enough. With the Romulan.
Or are they just acknowledging what the real size was?
Once
Your,
they get rid of
um,
the casuals.
Yes.
Your companion left rather quickly.
My companion? Terribly sorry, what are you asking?
Your companion, who you were with, that was
He's
hiding
not
behind the
married.
boxes.
They're not married.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any other Romulans in this area. My crew are here, but they're aboard the Senator Pardek, and that's not yet docked.
She was made of invisible tribbles. Wearing a Romulan costume.
You just helped our chief of security up. You do remember that.
Oh yes, yes. He was blocked by a large pile of crates.
And how did that happen?
I don't know. I wasn't watching that. Am I responsible for that somehow? I suppose you're trying to accuse me of everything else. You might
Can
as
I
well.
notice whether I think he's lying?
Pardon?
Whether I think he's lying?
You're using
Is
your
there any-
truth.
Okay,
status.
you can. Hang on.
Are you
Might
like
be
an,
yourself.
are you an ancient North American Indian?
How, you need to look
Yeah.
at your sheet. Hang on. Let me have a look.
Magic
Is
power.
there anything here that might help you? Rapport and diplomacy are both pretty. Rapport, diplomacy, and empathy are all pretty good for detecting lies, but none of those are good ones for you.
No, they're not, but I could try anyway.
You can try.
Alright. I'll try and on rapport, I guess. So if I roll well.
That's
I haven't,
brilliant.
I've got 0. Okay.
Well,
I can't.
as it
Could
happens,
have been worse.
as it happens, you can't detect any sign of real deception. Although he is a Romulan, so there is a certain assumption that there's going to be some somewhere.
Chess players.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! Oh my god!
Yes.
What is this, Star Wars?
Chess
Where all the
players.
races is like homogenous? And they all the
What's your
same?
He's right against
Planet
the
of Hats.
misogynation of the races, Urban.
No.
Yes.
If anything, I'm arguing the opposite of that. Maybe. I shouldn't
Okay,
say
so-
races, I should say species.
Oh, we'll see how
Did you
this
see
goes.
that chart in the tea room that tells you what each race
So I'll
does?
say to him, well, since you have no business here, let me accompany
We had one
you
in the
back to your ship.
library.
Watch out for
You
the,
might-
That will
those
not be
ones.
for quite some time.
Romulans lie.
What?
Why
Watch
do you
out
need to
for
be
those
here?
ones.
Klingons fight.
They'll try and check
As
out
I
more
said
books
before,
than they're
my
allowed to.
business is my own.
Ferengi steal.
So you're waiting for someone.
I remember the time you enabled one of those people to borrow like 80
You may
books.
choose to believe that if you wish, human.
Ferengis.
Yes, they were free.
Fine,
from
I'll,
you guys.
I'll wait with you and keep you company.
It is a free.
Remember
it is
the
a free
song.
space dock. You
If
are
they're
certainly permitted to
Romulans,
do so.
Definitely.
they're
What should we
probably
discuss?
lying. If they're Ferengis,
Whatever-
check
whatever
your
you like.
pockets.
If they're Klingons, you're probably dying.
Ferengi don't steal your wallet. If you're a Ferengi, don't sign the contract.
Ferengis will do.
It's been a long
he's
time
right,
since
you
I
know.
learned that song at school.
Ferengi are very likely to. They won't steal your wallet. They will steal your company,
Steal.
and it will be 100% legal.
And if
Anyway,
there's
it's just a song to
nobles,
remember this stuff. It's
they'll
not.
plant an egg in your throat, and then it'll come out your chest.
That's a different.
Hey,
sci-fi
that's a very
series
different
altogether.
species.
So don't let that happen, boys.
Meanwhile,
All of the Ferengis
But
did
we
that as
must.
well.
We must
Meanwhile,
go forward.
Dave and the Romulan
We're having a
are
lovely
having
conversation.
absolutely very one might say excessively small talk.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But eventually, the Romulan says, "I shall take my leave of you."
Wesley
and
and
runs
the
away.
Romulan.
Oh,
Thus, we have achieved our great
hopefully we will meet up again.
The new sitcom.
I'm sure we shall.
Wesley and the Romulan.
Alright, I'll head back to the ship.
And they have the same haircuts. I mean, really.
Yes.
So nobody's going to track him
No,
or
that's
anything.
not hair.
Would you like some tea, Romulan?
Actually, I might see if I can
Maybe
track
I
him
do,
down the distance,
maybe I
But I want to make
don't.
sure that he doesn't know
Try
I'm
and work
following
it out,
him.
human.
I want to make sure that... I'm going to try and make sure that he doesn't know that I'm following him.
Okay, fair enough.
How many dimensions of chess?
So you wait for the Romulan to walk close to out of view,
Now you can
and
find
then
him.
you start following him.
Yeah, I'll start following him. See if
Roll
we
for
can
notice.
see if you can-
Just drop chess pieces at him.
I will.
He does.
20 Romulan grab stuff on
Last
his
one, 4 again.
4 again. You do notice you see him turning left, and so you
Like two
Sinister.
forward and one
going through
right.
The knight.
going through a corridor.
Yes.
So you follow him down the corridor.
Yep. I'll follow him back.
When you get through the corridor, you find you are in the marketplace.
Okay, and there's humans around and stuff.
There's humans. There's Ferengi.
Okay, so
There's Klingons. There's no Romulans. So so he still stands out a little bit.
Okay.
Watch for people
Alright.
dressed as ring wraiths, because they will assassinate you.
Yes,
How
they
about
will.
bins?
The
Apparently.
Romulan, the Romulan is at the other side of the the marketplace.
Yep.
Bins.
He is still walking
Just
slowly. He
as
does not
big
appear to have noticed that you noticed
Okay, I'll
him.
keep following.
So you keep following him.
I'll blend in with the crowd.
Also-
You do blend into the crowd quite successfully. Unfortunately, you also get jostled by the crowd, and the crowd is keeping you a long way away from him. So roll for notice again.
Okay. One.
You have.
What
you
day
have,
is
He has,
Mardi Gras
it
in
looks
the
like you
marketplace.
have. You see what you think is a Romulan up ahead, but when you walk up close, because he stopped moving, when you get up closer, you find out this is in fact a Vulcan.
Okay.
The Romulan's been following you the whole time!
And there is, and,
Because they are the ultimate
you do not
chess
see the Romulan anywhere.
He's been playing checkers.
Do I have my tricorder with me?
You do.
Can I
Romulans
scan
and
for
Vulcans are
Romulans?
Scan for Romulans.
Yeah. Because I might be able to pick him up.
Let's just see if we can detect Russian.
Pardon?
What skill?
Science or security?
You kinda can.
From the haircut.
No.
The pity you didn't get anybody to come with you, isn't it?
like the Beatles.
Slightly.
It's not really tactical.
In the
No, it's not
24th
tactical.
century, there was a massive Beatles revival
Okay,
in
so
Russia.
I can still try, but I get no bonus to whatever.
No bonuses.
Okay, all right, come
So
on.
what you
Roll
do?
one there. No, 0. I can't,
No,
I can't pick it up.
well, the tricorder is working fine.
Putin
And-
bought 5,000.
The beautiful
introduced
part
the
of this,
trend.
he's holding something the size of a cassette recorder going beep, 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 beep.
That's alright, I could be doing anything.
Oh, is he actually going beep, 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 beep?
Yeah,
I
that's-
hope
that's-
so.
I hope so
Him.
too.
No, he's not.
Isn't he?
He's got a tricorder. Tricorder's one hand.
Got 3 of them.
Oh, I prefer the big ones that are like cassette recorders.
No,
and
no,
go,
No, it's not.
Those.
No.
Those are about 100 years ago.
Don't
The
care.
classics.
We got the newer ones.
Oh, so it's just go. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, even though I think I've lost it, I'll keep on. I'll move in the direction. No, I'll move in the direction where I last saw him, just to see. I might see him again because he was walking slowly. So I'll increase my speed.
But a little
So
bit
off he
luck,
goes,
things
and,
going our way.
Do you want to share up there? I think
Where's
I've
Lee
got
and the Robin?
You okay over there, Ray?
I just need that.
You alright? Are you feeling well?
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty shitty chair.
You're okay? You haven't hurt yourself or something?
Maybe you
All
could
right.
use that
Okay.
chair for the bucket and use the comfy chair for the people.
Use that chair for the bucket.
Well, he's got like a normal chair over there.
The
Or is
one
that
that the one
broken?
with the leg falling off it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, no, I
broken.
wouldn't use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Otherwise,
so
it'll
yes,
splinter,
you walk-
go straight through your thigh, and it'll pierce your artery, and the blood will just spray
And
out.
you'll bleed all over the carpet.
And there'll be a stain on the ceiling, and I'll forever blame you for
You,
that.
There will be
walk
no
to the-
stains. It will
He's the
drink
walk to
your
the
blood.
That's
Anyway,
okay.
corridor,
You'll
you
need to
think
do
he's
your
gone.
wood carving.
and it surprises you not at all to know that the corridor you come to is a crossroads of about 3 or 4 other corridors. And there is absolutely no sign whatsoever of what direction the Romulan has gone.
He's going to be behind me when I turn around, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that.
There you
This
go.
whole time he's
So
been
then, at
following
least I
you.
found him. At least I found him.
The chess plays.
If you remember the name of the ship that he was coming on, I think he said that the ship had not arrived at the space dock yet. You could find out from records where the ship will be when it arrives and try and figure
Yeah,
out.
can you just swipe up on that? Thanks.
And try and figure out is that the direction he was heading for.
That's all right.
Good.
I just couldn't work out what. Oh, it's still saying
It's
it.
back.
It's back.
There you go. Thank you.
Will it come back again?
Only the shadow
All right.
knows.
I'll start to make my way back to the ship.
I hope you. I hope you've
I'm looking
factored.
for him. If
Hope
I can't
you've done
find
that to do. By the way,
him. Have I done?
your to do that you just.
Yeah, I will. I'll get it done.
All right then.
He gets back in the room and back watching.
Just
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
just as the helmsman is arriving back, a race official this time.
And the Robin.
Thank you guys. A race official this time a Bolian. For those of you who don't know what a Bolian is, it's a
Ebolian?
blue guy with a ridge down his head.
Oh, like the barber.
It's a
Barber,
simple
yeah.
Ebola
Yeah.
virus.
Oh, they're incredibly talkative. Oh, good lord.
The Bolian has
How do you
walked
spell
up
Bolian?
to the gangway
B.
and pressed the, for want of a better word, doorbell.
yeah.
Race business. I need to speak to somebody.
Okay, well, who was actually left there at the time? The doctor.
Well,
the
everybody except.
Yeah, I'm heading back. I can't.
You're not
I
there.
can't do
He's
everything,
inside.
guys.
The captain is still up. He's
Give me a
that
hand
leaves-
here.
Yeah. Oh look, I'll go and.
Yeah, that's a Bolian.
There's only 3 of us left. I may as well.
Okay.
How may I help you? I am Lieutenant Navas. How may?
Oh, those idiots.
I would like to talk to you. Actually, you being the operations officer, that's quite helpful. We have just had an alert from one of our security cameras.
Aren't their entire species gay?
One of our security cameras.
Just because they're blue? It's because they're blue, isn't
Is
it?
that on the poster in the tea room? This is a Romulan wires.
Their entire
Bolian's
species
gay.
No, Bolian's hat is they don't stop talking.
Yeah, said so.
Yes, come in.
So yes, the Bolian is saying we have some security footage which we are concerned about. It looks like a Romulan was sneaking aboard your ship.
Well, go deal with it.
He's not back yet, surely.
I could flood
He
the
is.
entire
He's
ship
back.
with
I'm
poisonous
not back
gas. That will flush them out.
Yes,
Hang
and
on.
us as
Hang
well.
on, what's
Indeed,
happening?
there
There's
were a number of
when did
Romulans
it-
here
what-
earlier.
Romulan, when did this happen? Or is it happening
Approximately half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Where
Does that
are
match
we?
up the time when Peter's character was having the
I'll
little
just
altercation?
instantly ask the computer if there are any Romulans on board at the moment.
Negative.
Like I can trust it.
It's hiding inside it. It's hiding.
Watch the video.
Hiding inside a tribble that
Yeah,
can't be
video.
scanned.
That's exactly.
Wait for the TV episode
that
to
is
come out and
perfectly
watch
true
it.
The
thing.
volume
what we
tells
do.
you our cameras only really go to your gangway, obviously. From there, it's your own security
Sure.
arrangements. But we did see about half an hour ago this Romulan sneaking aboard the cargo gangway, not the main gangway, the cargo gangway.
Okay.
Don't you play standing outside the
Indeed.
ship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very well
but
then.
you know.
Could you send us a
They-
copy of this video
they've
and we'll
planted
cross
something in the
collaborate it with
cargo
our own
bay.
security internal
Yes,
areas?
that is absolutely. In fact, not only that, I was assuming you'd want this, so you've got it.
Why don't we take off and flash all cargo into space?
Well, no.
Man.
Before we do that, I would like to have a look at
So,
the
hang on.
compare our internal cameras with their video.
Do we have internal cameras on the cargo?
Yes,
bay?
yes, you do.
What do we see
Are the
when we
cameras
look?
on now?
Yes, they are.
Can
So
we
they
look?
saw the Romulan get on the ship.
Can we look at these?
Well, that's the big question. Do our cameras show the Romulans sneaking onto the ship?
That's what we've been asking for
so,
the last
yes.
5 minutes.
No, it hasn't been 5
So
minutes.
the
Mr.
camera shows
Exaggeration
the
Man.
Romulan getting on the ship.
Okay, their camera shows the Romulan getting on the ship. When you go to the security gangway cameras, you find something unusual.
It's a tribble.
Don't.
You find that the relevant time index
Has been deleted.
has been deleted.
Excellent. How much time?
When did their camera show the Romulan getting off the ship?
Their camera has not shown the Romulan getting off the
So
ship.
it's still
So the Romulan's still on the ship.
Yes, the
But how
Romulan
are
is
they
still on the
masking
Fill
ship.
the entire ship with poison gas.
Now! Do it now! Meanwhile, in the off-camera
Why are you dressed as a World War I German? No reason, my captain!
Okay, I will get back to one of my original questions. Did the events, the time of this Romulan sneaking onto the ship, was it earlier or later or simultaneous with the altercation that Peter's character had?
Almost simultaneous.
Almost simultaneous.
So we're being
So that
distracted.
suggests then that there were 3
So the
Romulans
running
at
away
least.
was a distraction for the
So
other
there were
distraction.
originally 3 rooms.
Yeah. There were 3 Romulans. He
You were right the first time you get
he
those.
made us-
Let's get on.
he made
It
us
was a-
slip. He
a
gave
minute-
something away in there.
It was a minute or two after the altercation.
Yeah. And while we were all looking at that, obviously that gave somebody a distraction to head on. Yes,
Now,
absolutely logical.
what do we do about it? Captain?
Oh, you're called there?
Yes.
By the way,
Yes.
it should be noted that your cameras are working just
There is
fine.
an intruder on the ship.
Yes,
A
Mum.
Romulan has snuck
The next
aboard after a clever
The next thing that
stratagem
occurs to me is we need to find out the
all.
security override who actually who wiped these.
Can you go down
Excellent.
with the
If they're on
security
board-
detail down into the cargo,
Okay.
and then try and flush them out that way?
Okay.
Arm yourselves.
What?
I'm
I want
always
force
armed.
fields put up at every door in the ship so that they don't
red
reach.
shirts to be killed. God damn it!
How
Okay,
many
you are-
entrances and exits from the
There's
cargo?
2. No, sorry, the 2 entrances to the ship are the main
Seal off
and the cargo bay.
We'll send him in Jeffrey's tubes with a key bar
But-
and a Colt 45.
But my point being is, once you
and a
get into
flashlight.
Seal off
the cargo bay,
Force
how
field
many-
the cargo bay. And
how
then
many
security
exits from the
detail.
cargo
Oh, right.
bay to the rest of the ship?
There are two turbo shafts
Right.
and there are 4 Jeffries tubes.
So can we just seal all these off?
You can?
We seal all
It
these
may
off.
well be after the
It
horse
may
is
well be
bolted,
too
but we
late.
may as well
They
do
could
it
be on
anyway.
the bridge
That's
by now.
No, they haven't left.
They're still on the ship.
Yes,
Camera only
yes,
showed them
but
going on.
they could be somewhere else in the ship other than the cargo bay. Is my point.
Yes, that's
Now-
why I said I want force fields put on every door.
Now that we've isolated sections of the ship, should we start pumping in gas?
Water.
Can we?
Can we do that?
Can we?
Yeah, we could replicate water and flood the cargo bay, but
Can we get some
Ruin
data
everything we've got in the cargo
on those
bay.
on those entrances exits from the cargo bay?
Yes.
Can we get any data on in the relevant time frame about whether they were in operation and how many people used them?
Okay. Well, you have data that all that you have, because the security footage, and by the way, you discovered all the security data at all. It's not been pretty subtle.
It's been erased.
quite
Right.
quite roughly, has been erased. So you've got no evidence whatsoever. But you do know that the cargo gangway was working at the appropriate time. That's about all you've got.
Yeah, but the turbo should.
Oh yeah, everything's working because
Yeah, no. But what I'm trying to say is there? Well, can we get any data on whether? I'm not talking about getting in and out of the cargo bay. I'm talking about once you're in the cargo bay and you use one of the other methods to access the rest of the ship.
Yes. Well, the answer is yes, you do, but that will take quite a while because even though this is a relatively small ship, there's a lot of cargo, a lot of movement of the turbo shafts.
Okay.
Yes.
So
you can do that.
it's not like there's one case.
Why don't we just pump the oxygen out?
No, don't, because we want to capture whatever is
Dude,
in it.
I just need
That
to
would be
remind you there's
murder.
about 100 people on the ship.
Well, they can.
Yes, it's true that
Yeah,
only the
talking
6 of
about
you
that.
guys actually matter, but
They can leave the ship and then we can pump the oxygen out.
It still would be a death sentence.
Romulans don't breathe oxygen.
yes, they do actually.
A good attempt to fake out the DM, but unfortunately you've rolled badly.
They live exclusively
So,
on
repeat
the,
my-
on the fumes.
So,
that
repeat
would-
the
In the
Are we all together now, or we'll?
So what
together
don't
have
in
a-
the in main engineering,
Yes.
fish. In main engineering, one of
Seriously,
the
is there something we can pump in that
Ray's character is in main engineering, and one of
don't
the
like
screens
Klingons.
is flickering there.
Let's pump the ship.
Scent of Klingon.
One of the screens is flickering. It's the one that is usually used by the Azure beam.
I'll remember that.
Okay.
Let's go talk to the Azure beam.
That, does it automatically mean that anything on there is a communication from Azure?
He's probably done something naughty to the
Azure
Klingon, to the
being wants
Romulans.
to communicate to us, it would just communicate to us. It wouldn't flicker our screen.
How do you think it communicates with you?
By flickering the screen.
Usually by
I'm gonna-
flickering the screen.
That's the captain's job to talk to the Azure beam.
But the
So
screen
how do
is,
I know this is happening?
the screen flickers up. No, you don't. He does. The screen flickers up, and a single line of text appears on the screen.
Hello.
The text.
I am beautiful, sort of.
There you are. That's good. That's wrong. It says.
I'm wearing credit cards.
It says, why is there a different tasting being on the ship?
Good question, actually, as you're saying.
We've got to find this thing.
Not sure. Well, how do I communicate to it? Type or
Type, yeah.
Okay.
Ask
Oh,
her where
we have
it
keyboards.
is.
Yes. Ask it.
Just one of the normal touch
He's an
screens.
intruder.
Where's the funny taste coming from?
Yeah.
We are not quite sure. Do you know where the new taste is?
The Azure being says, I cannot tell you where it is. I merely can tell you that there is a sophont like you, but it smells of copper as you smell of iron.
That would be
There
genius.
makes it what?
Copper.
Sorry?
They would make it.
It smells of copper as you
What-
smell of iron.
What smells of copper?
Their,
The odd smell.
their blood is copper based instead of
Yeah, I
iron
got that
based.
bit. No, I didn't get the other word that he used.
Sophont. Oh, sorry, a species that thinks.
Oh,
Sentient life form.
Right. Okay.
a sofa.
Sorry, I didn't realise that was an unusual word.
So fond.
I didn't know it.
Okay, am I the only person in the room who knew the word sophont? Okay,
Yes.
right.
I just.
If you've ever read C.S. Lewis's
Did you
science
Google it?
fiction books,
You
a
Google it.
canal.
An intelligent being.
No, that's
A
Aslan.
being with a base reasoning
We're talking about
capacity.
the space trilogy. Out of the sun.
Yes.
Are you down in
I-
the cargo
I
bay
haven't
yet?
read it, but I remember none of this.
Are you-
I'm in
are
the
you
cargo
down?
That's
bay.
With the security detail.
Okay.
How many security do you have
All-
But
with you?
the Azure being
No,
says to
all of
Ray,
them. Half
Yes.
of them.
Azure being says to
Half
Ray,
of the security detail.
I should be
it
telling
is
you
no longer
about it.
here. It walked between the dimensions in the places where your eyes cannot see.
Has it
Oh.
used the transporter then?
They might have transported.
It's
I
walked
say-
into the dimensions where our eyes
We'd
cannot
like to
see.
Thank you for this information. If it reappears, could you let us know, please? But only if it pleases you.
Is that where the
Affirmative.
tribbles are coming from?
Can we do a stock take on the cargo?
Ray,
Carrying?
can you ask it if that's where the tribbles were coming from?
It may not know what triples are.
Yeah, it's smart enough to do that.
don't forget it never mentioned to us that there's a new triple on the ship.
Yeah, but it's talking about a dimension where we cannot see, and we're getting stuff coming in from nowhere.
What's that?
I
Isn't that
googled
what
so
Ron- how
font. This is
Romulans
one of the
was their ships with that, some
Perfect.
what the hell?
some
Oh,
kind
so
of
you think it's
marsupial
wandering
man.
around with a personal cloaking
Well, marsupial
device?
woman
Maybe.
with a joey.
I don't
Okay.
think
The
they have
context.
personal cloaking devices.
I think I know.
Well,
Okay.
So was that right?
I just
I think there was at one point.
relay that information to the captain.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we've got,
Maynard.
we've got a person we can't detect wandering around with a cloaking device.
Or something.
In
The
another
a
in
dimension
another
we cannot
dimension.
see, which sounds like invisibility.
Oh, they're in the dimension where they play chess.
The chest
I still think we need to check the cargo.
Chess the musical?
Oh, I hope so.
Check the cargo. Is there anything missing?
I will check the cargo with half the security team that I brought down with me.
No,
while
can't you
deployed.
just ask the computer if anything's missing? Doesn't the computer have an inventory of what we're
I think
carrying?
we
It's called a cargo manifest.
I
yes.
think we
Yeah.
should visually.
Oh, go ahead.
confirm
You go
this.
do your visual
No,
stuff.
that's
back.
very prudent considering what a triple loop can't be seen electronically.
I don't
Yes.
even know what I'm doing for this.
Yeah, that would be a security role.
Security. Okay, that's 4. 4 minus 1 is 3.
Okay, that's good enough. It's a big job checking the entire cargo manifest visually,
I've got
but that's
people with me.
what enlisted men are for. So you do that, and at the end of a very, very long, painful half hour of work, you find out that absolutely nothing is missing.
And we also know the Romulan is presumably not in the hole with us unless they're just wandering around avoiding us. Hang on. If
Why are
they're
you playing One
closed,
Night in Bangkok?
Chess.
Because
Chess.
chess the musical.
that's only visual. If they're alive, they have a heartbeat.
It's great.
Nevertheless, while they're fluffing around in the cargo
Can
bay,
we zero in on their heartbeat?
you notice something. You notice that some of the
Acoustic signals.
Yes.
you get a note from on your screen that says that some of the settings on the shield mutation have been tampered with.
Okay, I will immediately investigate.
Just
First of all,
can-
I will want to see A, what has been done, and B,
Leave us alone.
who actually did it, if there's a security signature, or whether it's been hacked.
Okay.
do we have any Vulcans in the crew?
You have one Vulcan in the crew. Yes.
I want the computer to detect all Vulcan heartbeats and their location.
Right. Good question.
All
The-
Vulcan-like heartbeats.
The computer detects Nevaeus, of course, and it detects the other two known Vulcans on board who are in their quarters. When you send security guards around to their quarters, they are exactly where they're supposed to be. So the heartbeats currently showing Vulcan are.
So we don't detect any other Vulcan.
We do not detect anybody untoward. There is the science officer. There is a notice on your screen that some of the settings of the lateral array have been tampered with.
The lateral array. Presumably, this person, based on what, just getting back to the point,
Yeah.
as you're being said, they probably just teleported out.
Yeah, they're
Did
probably
whatever
not
they
here
did,
anymore,
Because
yeah.
why would you hang around? So you're saying, what were you saying? The what array?
Some of the
Lateral
settings,
array.
some of the settings of the lateral array, which is the sideways sensors, the extras.
Okay, they're sensors, right?
Yep. Have gone
Oh,
haywire.
like a fish, because they have sensors on their lateral array.
There you go.
Fishies.
Maybe it's a fish.
Now, it occurs to me that all of these things that have been tampered with,
That's our ship.
they were the ship's operations which we were thinking of upgrading for the race, even if we chose to do some but not others.
Now they've been downgraded.
The chief engineer. There have been some unusual setting changes on the impulse engines. Nothing disastrous. Nothing nothing that would blow the ship up or anything like that. But you know perfectly well, because you are in tune with the ship, you know perfectly well that these settings are not where you left them.
Given his empathy with the engines, he would have a better idea of when these changes were made than the rest of us, because we would have time for there would be a delay for us because of the computer bringing it to our attention, whereas he should know instantly. When did this happen?
Sorry?
Because of his machine empathy,
right.
he should know instantly when that happened, which would be better than the rest of us.
Your intuition is that it happened not 15 minutes ago. You can't be any more sure than that, but at least 15 minutes ago, you know that you looked at that setting and you know that it was different.
Okay, I check the logs and see if I can see when it was, where it was set from, and how.
Frustratingly, it appears that there are log gaps all over the ship. A lot of systems that should have been logged are not logged.
They've just wiped everything. They've wiped everything.
That
away.
answers the question that I've been poking at you for the past
Now, well, so maybe.
and which you were carefully avoiding, I noticed.
They probably just had a program designed to do all this. They just
Yeah.
plugged in
Yeah.
and zoomed out.
So a couple of thoughts come to mind. One is whether the break-in attempt has any signature to it at all. Like, when you hack into something, have they left a little sort of clue as to how they did it, kind of thing?
There's a little alarm in the transporter room. It's from the race headquarters.
Yes.
USS Tamworth. We gave no permission to use the transporters.
Yes. Who's responding to this call?
Shouldn't the captain?
That would be ops and/or captain.
No one could have used the transporters. We had the ship on shields all the whole time.
Didn't we-
Unless they can transport through shields.
Didn't we
no
have the
one's transported
transporters
in or
locked
out.
down last time I checked?
Why have we got shields on?
I thought we locked the transporters
I-
down.
Can I reset the settings?
You can.
Can I put higher levels of security on those settings and
You
all
can.
settings like them?
You can.
Only accessible via an extended code from the captain or myself.
Yes, you can, and you have done so.
Can I find out what the hell's different about the lateral arrays that should be the same?
It's simply there's a bunch of settings that are, again, like I was able to be more precise with Ray because he's got much more of an affinity with his systems, but it's the same sort of thing. It's that settings which you knew you left at one level are left at a different level.
Oh
Things
my
like that.
god, that's not the factory default.
That's the one, yeah, exactly.
Plus the little tweak I always do.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no.
So quite apart from the fact that it means somebody's been stuffing around with your ship, you're irritated because
I
somebody's
have
been
to
stuffing around with your
reload
settings.
my custom
Can I,
settings.
Can I analyse the settings that have been changed and what they were changed to, and find out what it would.
What it would.
Well, we're
yeah,
in dry
that's a good
dock.
point.
Why don't we just do what David said? Why don't we just put it to the factory default and start from scratch?
We already have.
Do we actually have time to do that before the actual race?
Well, Ray just said we already have.
That-
But there is an interesting point here, which is why did it set the settings to the settings it set
That's
it to?
what I'm trying to find out.
So
Okay.
let's just make sure we
Good question.
record those
I
settings
am
before
guessing
we wipe
because
them
they're
all out.
slightly but not very noticeably inefficient.
As far as you can tell, there is no direct correlation between any of these settings and anything efficiency-wise.
Oh.
For example, the
I was about to run a simulation.
the lateral array settings are things which would have been immediately, as soon as the ship came out of dock, they would have been immediately changed by people using them anyway.
Oh.
The setting on the impulse drive was simply a throttle that should have been at idle, which was slightly out of idle, and a few angle settings and so forth that normally get changed dozens of times during race, but they were out of alignment.
Maybe it just
So these are things which would normally be like that anyway. So
Maybe-
there doesn't seem to be any kind of pattern to it, just random.
so it might just be a subtle signal that someone's been fiddling. Like if somebody had come into my room, into here, and I don't know, looked in my DVDs and didn't put them back in the same order I had them, and I might come home and go, that's not how I
Or
remember it
this
was.
might be a whole bunch of
Could
obvious
these-
things
could
that we
these
find, so we
settings
miss
be
the unobvious
observed
thing.
without being tampered with?
So, what do you mean by that? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Were they is it possible they were inadvertently set by
No.
right?
No, all of these would require. In fact, one thing that you cannot say who it was who was using using any of these consoles at any given time. But what you can say is you know that, because as I said, it was fairly rough what they've done. It's just that particular consoles have had their memories wiped at particular times.
So did this require someone to physically touch these consoles?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so they just load a program in somewhere and it all just automatically happened. Okay.
No, they didn't do that. No.
So they ran around the ship looking at everything,
Where was
touching
everybody?
buttons, and then running away
Let's
again.
just follow up on the idea that Dave had. Is it possible somebody came in here and did something, when they finished, changed it randomly to something else and then left? Is it possible that with a diagnostic we can find out if there is something deeper which is hidden
Yeah.
and which we need to investigate?
You could do a level 3 diagnostic to find that sort of stuff out. That only take about 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll work on that then. Diagnostic.
You don't have to roll for that. You've done your diagnostic. As far as your diagnostic is concerned, you can confirm that systems have been randomly altered in various places around the ship. However, it does not appear that there is anything deeper than that. In fact, if you were a betting man, or betting woman, I should say, you would even say that it looks like the person didn't actually know what they were doing.
So they're just playing with our minds?
It's like the Tribble.
Would Romulans ever do that?
It's like the Tribble. We couldn't work that one out either. It's nothing mystery.
Sorry, Urban.
Has this script been written by J.J. Abrams?
No, it was written by J.G. Hughes.
Okay, fine.
What about
We probably
Damon
would
Lindelof?
need to
Did he have
contact
anything
the
to do
race
with it?
coordinators about that transport off. I presume the captain has already explained, although we've got a security lockdown at the moment, we had no authorisation for transporters. Who came off and where did they go to?
Hang on, I think I've got that.
More to the point of where did they go to? Maybe then we can figure out who it was.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, I did have that. Where was it? The race authorities are a little bit perturbed. They say somebody used the transporter from your ship a few minutes ago, but then they deleted all the records at the other end. We can tell you roughly what sector of the station they went to, but we can't tell you where any more detail than that.
Oh,
This is a disturbing trend.
It was. We can tell you that it was towards one of the other docking bays, but we don't know which one.
How many different people are in that general direction?
3,847,200.
No, I mean the docking bays. How many different docking bays are we talking
Oh,
about here?
300 docking bays.
Are they all? They're all different species, I take it. Okay.
Yes, quite a lot. None of them are Romulans yet.
Are Ferengi there?
I've come to the conclusion
There are 2.
Okay.
out of 300.
Well,
and it
friendly,
may not
friendly.
be a very good one,
Go ahead.
but I still like it.
Go ahead.
It's not the Romulans who are playing games with us.
Well, I think you can fairly safely say it's Jono who's playing games with you. But
Okay, so
In the universe,
it's not a Romulan because your friend, the blue thing, said
What's
it
that
was a
hanging off
different
my-
thing. Romulans are the same as Vulcans.
Those are the
So
maths
it's not-
like
No.
put
It's
between
not
the
a Romulan. It must be something else.
computer
That-
screens.
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
Azure-
So a
the
Ferengi, while the
blue
Romans
dude-
were watching us,
dude-
a Ferengi ran around and...
The blue
yeah.
dude said it was a copper tasting one,
copper tasting, yes.
But that's Vulcan.
or Romulan.
Vulcan.
Yeah, but he knows.
But I think
He
it's
already
something-
knows Vulcans because we have Vulcans on the crew.
Yeah, but
He said it's different to what we have on the crew.
but that's like saying, genomic testing of COVID. There's COVID and there's COVID. Different strains.
So Romulans and
I'll put you out of your misery again.
Vulcans.
Yes, the Azure being can tell the difference between a Romulan and a Vulcan.
Okay.
So why did
My
you use copper as
supposition.
the-
My
So
supposition.
it was a
Because
Romulan.
I forgot the Vulcans had the same biochemistry. Otherwise, I'd have
Okay.
something.
My
So it
supposition
was
is it's too clumsy, and therefore it's somebody pretending to be a Romulan.
It was a Romulan
So
pretending to be
all
a
three
Romulan.
of them were pretending to be Romulans, and the guy who leapt onto the ship pretending to be a Romulan has the same blood as a Romulan.
Are all
Well, I
Romulans highly
suspect it wouldn't
competent?
be a Klingon
No.
because it's
Good.
too backhanded for a Klingon. A Klingon would just stab you rather than try and sneak around.
That would be
So
They must
dishonourable.
know how the ship works. They use the transporter, and they also beam through our shields.
The Azure being
So they
is
know
still,
a lot about how the ship works.
Yes.
The Azure being is still
suspecting
talking to Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and he does say the being that was on board the ship had a very, very unusual sound to it.
Can you play us this sound?
Yes, I can.
Could you do so?
I just did. You don't hear anything, but he said, yes, I just did.
Okay, so it's
If you play the sound in reverse, you could make the sound invisible.
it's fun to smoke
It's
marijuana.
inaudible.
They have to be invisible. Okay, we've already said
What?
this, that they were invisible. They were cloaked. Because there's 100 people on a little ship. So if they're wandering around like a
Yes.
maniac touching everything, someone would have seen them unless they're invisible.
It's true.
I think he's
A
hinting
maniac
at
running
the
around touching
idea that
everything.
the sound includes a sonic baffle. We may need to either deconstruct the two parts.
Or
to
maybe it's the Azure being doesn't think the same way you do.
Well, yes. Yes,
Well, that's a good point. Let us clarify. When he says sound, are we talking about audio vibrations in the atmospheric medium?
I think he's talking about matter, the states of matter as vibrating thing. I think
Your portable scanning
scheme.
scanning device. Please place it beside my screen.
Take it for a second.
You do so. If you press the button that reflects green light, it will now prevent the sound from being emitted that makes them invisible to your eyes.
It's purple.
What does that mean?
Oh, so it'll emit a light frequency or something that'll allow us to show people that are hiding
Well, yeah.
from it.
Oh, he's altered our scanner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, that
Or
was
at least
the bit I
give it a
didn't
bit
get.
of programming which will cancel out their cloaking device.
Yeah.
So you now have the ability to with that tricorder and of course any other tricorders that's suitably altered. You are now able to see anybody who's attempting to cloak.
Can I work out what's going on with the
You can.
I
Science
have a
roll.
question
Go ahead.
for the Azure being.
Go ahead.
Does this guy have a
The
name?
taste, the
Azure
being
being.
that tasted of copper,
Yes.
could it
The
have
Azure
been fake
being.
taste? Could it have been artificially produced?
Worship
taste?
him.
Bluey?
Or was it definitely
I think we
copper?
do. It's gotta be
Why-
Bluey.
It tasted.
Azure
It tasted like your operations officer, but a little bit different.
Bluey Blakey
But-
person.
Bluey,
Could it
like,
We
be
must
a
wear saffron and give him
Could it
lotus
have been-
flowers.
sorry?
synthetic. A
I
synthetic
would have known the
taste.
difference. Sorry, what was your science roll?
3.
A 3. Can you also roll academic?
Okay, so if it was
Yes.
the Romulans, which it appears to have been Romulans, then the question is why would the Romulans do such clumsy things with such superior technology and achieve so little?
I think it's a diversion
So,
for something else
no,
they've
well-
done.
Lansky.
Lansky. Okay, right. You've got
It's a
no.
little bit like, was it the invasion of, during the invasion of, was it Baghdad or something? When did the Chinese embassy get cruise missile by a US
Oh, God.
thing?
That
I
was,
don't remember
that was the
Was that in
23rd
2003?
Balkan War.
Was that in 2003?
No, that was the 90s.
Yeah, I think it was the 90s.
Well,
Anyway,
back in the olden days.
The point is,
You know, the 132nd Balkans War.
the point is that In
Oh, in
those-
Yugoslavia.
Yes.
Oh, Yugoslavia, that's it. That
Well,
was-
he said Baghdad, so
yeah, I know.
I was
but
trying to
I
remember.
knew what he was
I knew it
talking
was one of
about.
Oh,
those.
so only explained
Okay.
yourself.
Anyway, the point is that the Americans. This is the slightly conspiracy theory, but I think it's a fairly a small jump. The Americans knew they were targeting the Chinese embassy. The Chinese knew the Americans knew they were targeting the Chinese embassy. There was a plausible deniability from everybody, and it was basically just a message of keep your nose out of it. So, in other words, you actually do something blatantly obvious to send a message, rather than
That is insane. That's
What sort of message are they sending us? Don't race? It's like that makes no. This has to be like a diversion for something else they've done.
Your
Oh,
science.
I'm not saying the message in our case is keep your nose out of it. I'm saying that they're yes, I'm
He's
agreeing
looking at
with
the
you.
method of sending the message.
Yes.
We're under orders to do a race. We're going to be doing the race no matter what goes on.
Yeah, that's not what I'm arguing. Sorry,
Dr.
what I'm
Dave-
arguing is that the Romulans want us to know that they were there, and they're being a bit crude about it.
Dr. Dave has
Like the
has done
KGB.
some tests
Okay.
on the altered tricorders, and he's found that that the pulse that the Azure being has programmed into them cancels out anything that is attempting to share the same spatial coordinates but occupy a very, very slightly different temporal coordinate. In other words, it's anything that is knocked out of phase.
Question. That does not sound like the way that Romulan cloaking devices for their
No.
ships has worked in the past. Is it a piece of technology which can be logically extrapolated from from Romulan cloaking devices, or is it something completely out of left field?
Jono's using a different piece of Star Trek technology.
Mhm.
He's using the out of phase technology, not the shields technology. But the two technologies could be used for the same purpose.
Mhm, mhm.
To cloak.
Yes, they both are cloaking technology, but the cloaking technology used for a starship is not scalable to a human size.
Okay, that's important.
Phasing cloaks, however, are scalable to a human.
Okay.
Do you know what we
Different
need to do?
technology, but still the same purpose.
We need to
cloak.
test this new scanner on that Tribble.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay,
Let's go scan a Tribble.
I assume we've still got it in the cage.
you still got
somewhere.
the triple in the cage,
Yeah, of course
despite
so.
all its rage.
See, it does make that sound.
Absolutely nothing happens.
Really?
It still shows up as a Tribble.
It's still very, very much a triple.
No, but wasn't the problem before we couldn't scan the bloody thing? We could see it with our eyes, but we couldn't
Yes,
scan the
you
bloody
can
thing?
still see the triple, and you still can't scan the bloody
Right,
thing.
so it's not registering anything, in other words.
Yes, we can't scan the Tribble despite this.
You scan the smoke that Tribble produced when you set it on fire.
True.
So if we set people on fire, we can scan them.
We demonstrated it existed in the material universe. That's what we've demonstrated.
By burning it.
Well, we
All
just
right.
any
Can we-
chemical
can-
reaction would do.
I want everybody. I want a McLaughlin group right now.
A
Conference
McLaughlin
room.
group?
Everybody up there.
Okay, we're all here.
You want to what?
I want to report on what's going on.
Madness and insanity.
I didn't know invisible Romulans, Tribbles that don't exist but do,
And they're filled with all the
they're
equipment.
filled with all the
First of all, I want to know what the effect is on the ship.
nothing.
When you hear the report that there is a person using phasing cloaking, you are very, very concerned because unlike these other guys for whom this isn't really their job, you are very well aware of the terms of the Treaty of Algernon, and you know that phasing cloaks are as illegal as hell
Are they?
in all the known systems.
Why would they risk all that just for a freaking race?
The
No,
Romulans
that-
aren't part of the treaty.
Now, the Romulans are the ones who enforce the Treaty of Algernon. So they are part of it, but they are not. They are not bound by it.
Sorry.
They enforce it.
Phase.
So in theory, they could use phasing cloaks themselves.
Mm-hmm. But there's a very good reason people don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Radiation poisoning.
What?
Exactly.
I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
the,
do...
the Romulans are not part of that.
Okay, the Romulans
They
and the
enforce it.
Federation signed the Treaty of Algernon.
So they did sign the treaty.
Okay, but one of the terms of the Treaty of Algernon is that the Federation will not pursue cloaking technology. And because of a recent incident involving the Starship Pegasus, which is a very similar starship to ours, actually,
So they're just checking out if we got cloaking technology.
they have included specifically that phasing cloak technology is not permitted in the terms of the Treaty of Algernon as well.
But they use cloaking technology all the time.
Correct. Yes, it's not a unilateral. It's not a bilateral treaty.
No.
It's saying you can't use it. If you want to be our friends, you can't use it.
And Starfleet battles rules get ruined because then everybody can cloak.
It's our special thing.
It's our special thing. That's right.
Because we're special.
So, Captain, you probably should inform Starfleet of this situation.
Sure.
This is problematic, especially right now with the Treaty of Alliance up for renewal. Please investigate this, but please try not to upset the Romulans in undoing.
Me and him should just go to the Romulan ship right now.
How many do we electro-torture?
I'll distribute my way in and he'll like ask them
I
questions.
love how you go straight from asking a few general questions all the way to electro torture.
No. Dono, how bad is your bad doggy Greek? Not doggy Latin, dog Greek.
What? It's getting better. I'm curious to know where that comes from.
We still in memories with necromantic seriophagy.
Oh, kill me now.
What's doggy Greek as opposed to Greek?
I heard the word
It's
zero.
a bad doggy
necrophagy.
Latin, this is bad doggy Greek.
Sorry, run that past me again.
Necromantic seriophagy.
Phagy is
Vampires,
Phagy is eating things.
Serio is
blood serum.
brains.
Oh, brains, right? Zombies, right? Gotcha.
Zombies eating.
You're
No.
still in memories.
All right.
Right, so for
Sorry,
all
we're
intents
getting
and
very
purposes,
silly here, aren't we?
we know a phase Romulan was on the ship,
Yes.
mucking around with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So our investigation is complete.
Excellent. We have succeeded.
Okay, now there is. Okay, you're going to investigate on the bridge to see. You're going to investigate to try and find out what you can find. So
Can find.
think about. Now, so far you've noted that all of these systems were tampered with.
Yes.
We're touched.
Now the
Where
question
did
you've
the
got to
bad
ask
Romulans
is.
touch you? Show us on the bottle of the spaceship.
Oh wow, that was disturbing.
I have got
Now,
a thought, but please finish yours.
You need to think about what did the Romulan not actually think about.
I'm going.
What did the Romulan not think about? Let's not think about what the Romulan did.
Quickly, everybody! Think of what the Romulan was not thinking about!
And then don't think about it.
Giant marshmallow
Okay.
man! We've doomed us all!
That's one!
Can I just say here, you guys have taken my carefully constructed story and torn it into shreds, and I'm trying to bring it
I'm
back.
sorry.
Anyway.
No, okay.
This is
They looked
very,
at the
very
engines, they fiddled
confusing.
with that.
We're not
They
pick-
fiddled
we're
with
not
the doors
picking up
Lorraine.
the-
They fiddled with operations.
But they didn't actually sabotage anything.
No,
No,
they looked
as far
at
as
it.
we
They
know.
left the settings on random. I'm thinking back to what Peter mentioned that. Sorry, Ray. Sorry, that it's no, it was Peter.
Thank you.
That it's basically a distraction. We've got parts of the memory have actually been wiped. Are there other parts which have been similarly
That is a
affected?
good question. All of you roll for notice in your own departments.
I think that's a 3.
Okay.
Ray,
Yes.
you roll?
Rolling dice.
Yes.
We will provide them to you,
Okay.
Ray. You've got COVIDs.
Now, firstly, security. Security has noticed
I
something.
don't know
I'm sorry.
either.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, it was really faint, but I did notice it and I thought I'd move rather than
The
sit next to
Romulan-
it all night.
I'll just.
I
I
don't
think
know.
we should have this out once and for all.
Steel cage deathmatch.
I did it deliberately, and I'm glad I tell you, it was me all the time. What, the Romulans or the cell? Both!
Okay,
Okay.
security notices what?
Security notices something.
Are your eyeballs supposed to be that colour, David?
The panels that she was fiddling with have been erased. What she did not seem to notice was that the security brig cameras were active at all times.
Aha.
Security bridge cameras?
So, when you look at the brig's monitoring cameras,
Rigged.
there is a fraction of a second where you see a Romulan coming out of phase, touching some controls on a panel, and then disappearing again.
Oh my god, they broke into the brig.
Is she just running around fiddling with our...
Touching stuff.
Is it a woman or a man? Because that could be vital.
Okay.
It is a
Now-
female Romulan.
If we've actually got video,
Oh,
how are
God.
they acting? Are they looking around unsure, or are they going directly to a thing? They know exactly what they're looking for.
We've only got a split second. It might
Yes,
be
I
hard to
know.
tell.
So did-
It doesn't look like she's looking around confused. It looks like she's dashing straight to where she wants to go, pressing the buttons, and then disappearing.
okay.
So I've got a picture of her.
Hang on a second, momo mumini mim mim.
Mum,
Yes.
mum?
Mumini mum mummini moo. Was she touching things with her filthy Romulan fingers
Yes, like our underwear.
that might leave DNA behind or fingerprints?
Try a science roll on a panel that's been touched.
Fingerprints hasn't worked so far.
This is the first time anybody's mentioned fingerprints.
I mentioned it several.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear them. I
Well,
apologise.
not tonight though, but yeah.
What am I rolling on?
Science.
3.
That's good enough. Yes, you find some definite fingerprints, and they show a Romulan's distinctive fingerprint type.
Can I get DNA, or whatever they have, RNA, something like that?
You have got some
Some
positive
kind of
DNA.
genetic coding
You have got
materials.
some DNA.
We
I'm going to amplify that mofo.
Captain, we could give
In my
these
PCR
fingerprints to the port station, whatever it's called, authority, and they could like do an investigation type thing, like police people,
I'd like you to work with
as opposed
the
to me and
port's
him storming the Romulan ship.
3,576,233 people to find out.
I will kill them all in alphabetical order. Ding!
I'll electro-torture them first.
For making a reasonable attempt at remembering how many people there are actually in the area.
This container can cut through a spaceship.
But no, I want you to go to the security.
Yeah,
information and work
we
with them.
do this.
The security people say this is very interesting because we do not have any Romulans on the station at the moment. However,
Hang on, we've seen at least 2 of them.
we do not have any record of Romulans.
Aren't they
But
security people that Klingons?
They haven't arrived yet.
the security people are deliberately multiple races, just so that they don't have any species saying they've got an advantage.
But we've seen
Yeah, but
multiple
the security
Klingons.
knows there are Romulans
No,
on
we
board.
know this. We know this. We're very disturbed about this, particularly since there's not supposed to be any Romulans on the station yet. The only Romulans we have are on the Senator Parr deck, which is still in orbit awaiting clearance.
Well, they could have beamed on.
They're tourists. They're looking for a party.
Sorry, sorry. May I just retcon just a tiny bit? Sorry,
I will stab you.
there is one Romulan.
Let me find a
who is
kitchen
legit-
knife for you.
There is one legitimate Romulan on the station. My apologies. I just misread.
All the
that.
rest are
Now,
bastards.
if I'm guessing correctly, that was the one that
One is a self-made
Dora Teacher
man.
Dave's character was talking to. The gentleman who indicated that he was waiting for his ship to turn up.
We cannot confirm or deny that. However, we can confirm that Ronaluk was near your ship earlier on today.
Ah,
That's
Run
the
along.
person who helped you up.
Yes, he was very nice and considerate.
Nice and considerate. That sounds like Ronaluk.
So,
where did he touch
you
you?
have a movie of the Romulan getting onto
I
our
now
ship.
have COVID.
No, I actually have an ulterior motive. there might actually be trace amounts of his DNA
Oh,
on Peter's clothes, Peter's character's clothes.
Yeah, but we know he's here. That's no mystery.
Oh, that's right. It was a female Romulan that we saw on the ship.
Is
So
there any
where was she
security
before she
footage
got
from
into
the
that
cargo
section?
I'm being
according
dumb.
to your security camera?
Sorry?
Well, the only security footage we've got is from the brig.
Female. Who
And,
shouldn't have seen there.
and
No,
she's
not the
also...
brig. The shot they got of them on the station.
hang on.
That was before the brig incident.
Is the woman who ran away the same as the woman we saw at the brig?
Has anybody seen both the footage of the person in the brig and the woman who ran away? Yes, you have. So yes, it is the same woman.
It's the same.
And
so after
is
you went
there
around the
any
corner,
security
she
footage
zipped
from
in.
the cargo bay showing where the?
No, she did delete. She did delete that security camera.
Now we got notified by the security guys of the station. What did they say? They picked up people around our ship. Did they not?
No, I already just asked this. He said that they would delete it.
No. The external security cameras did indeed catch up people.
And they have your.
Yeah,
they have
saw
your.
the woman get on the ship.
And it is the same woman.
So, where was she before she was on that camera?
We do not know. She should not have been here.
Alright, so for some reason she was invisible until she got to that camera,
When
made
she-
herself visible till she got
Yeah.
on the ship, and then made herself invisible again.
Why would she
So
make
there's
herself
real-
visible? That's the question. Yes.
Can I just be clear that there was reasonably clear evidence to the station security people that there is an unauthorized
Registered.
female Romulan who they have seen from our security footage was on our ship, and that they have seen on their ship.
Not only that, you get a notice on the usual bulletin board for ships in port that there is now an all points bulletin out on wanting a particular female Romulan detained for questioning.
I also have some genetic profiling data they might be interested in storing and checking against their databases.
Okay, now when you look at your data, there is something interesting about the DNA.
What's that?
DNA of somebody who has been using a phasing cloak
It's
is
all scrambly
a
purples.
little bit scrambly quibbles. That's right, and this one is considerably scrambly quibbles.
Oh no, she's going to get the cancers.
From your looking at the scrambly quibbles of her DNA, it does look like she's probably not going to be in terribly good shape
She needs to
soon.
put her telomeres back together
Can I
again.
retcon something as well?
Sure.
So she switched
When I
this
talked
woman
to
was crazy.
Starfleet,
Yes.
No, that's
Well,
not
just-
what happened.
I want to
Run
say
around.
that we
Well,
have a
it's
method
It's not like
of
Trump on
feeding through the
dexamethasone.
shielding it.
Yes, you do, and that's a very, very, very valuable thing from Starfleet's point of view.
How valuable
Absolutely.
is it?
Tell them I'm completely well.
Yes, Starfleet are okay with you giving it away.
More
So,
oxygen.
could you give this information to whoever's running the security
They
so
could
that they can look on the whole
literally be
space
right this
station
second.
thing and find if there's anyone hidden?
Sorry, could you
The
say the
No, I said it once and that's it.
the scanner.
I'm now going.
Wise decision.
You are authorised by
You're working with
Starfleet.
Star- you're working
powered
with-
scanner.
Sorry,
Our Azure powered scanner.
Yes.
That
your
is
Azure is just taught. Your Azure isn't powering it. Your Azure is
Yeah.
just telling your scanners how to do it.
Yes, I meant just modify.
Programming.
I was
That's
trying
fine.
to be figurative. And
That's fine.
and
No worries.
So can you go with him to
Can-
security?
We backwards engineer what he did.
Yes, you can.
Can we apply that to the station's?
That is what these guys were saying, and I've just said yes, you can do
Right.
that.
Oh, good. Now I know what's happening.
Excellent.
That was exhausting.
I should have
was.
said that ages ago, but I thought we wouldn't be allowed to do it.
That's why I asked Starfleet if we could do it.
Okay.
Thank goodness the captain is one of those forward-looking go-to people of action rather than words.
Actually, I read
Suck it, Picard.
Now, when you do this,
Is that the
there is
Now there's 4 million people on the station.
no, there's
a million Romulans.
there is one everywhere. There is one extra person on the station, and there are 2 Romulans instead of.
Everybody's
all
actually
under the
got
ship.
this out of place head crab on sucking their brains.
You know, there was one episode of Star Trek that
Our
had that.
window.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. It was a neck crab, but anyway, it'll do the same.
Oh, me and Peter,
I remember that episode.
me and Peter watched the entire
Oh, God.
series of what's it called? Dark Crystal Age of Resistance
That's it.
on. Do not let children watch it.
It's nightmare fuel.
It's a horror film. Oh my god!
And
With
the worst
Muppets.
thing about it is,
Horror
according to
film with Muppets.
Dark Crystal was a horror film.
Oh my god! It's horrifying.
my friend who was watching it says that the worst thing about it is the fact that they've cancelled the next season.
Oh.
So,
Well,
what
we all,
the hell actually
we-
happened?
About everything
we know
that
what's going to happen
happened
because
over
of the
the
film.
last
It's going to end
40
in
years,
Gelfling and genocide. Maybe it's a good thing we don't get a second season.
The Graffin Wars!
Oh my god! It was horror. It was traumatizing. We couldn't
My
stop
kids-
watching it, but
My kids were bored out of their brains after the first episode, so
Oh, you should wait till the
you
third
should have
episode.
waited till we were the ones with the.
I will say Saxon, Grace loves Star Trek Lower Decks. It's her sense of humour.
Yes, you've mentioned that it's her sense of humour.
It does take a while to take off, but once it takes
Oh
off,
my
Jesus.
god! It's nightmare fuel.
Okay.
Anyway.
And it's
Right,
not because of the graphic, it's all suggested.
No, it's psychological horror with Muppets. It's terrifying.
Oh my god.
You are told by the station authorities
What got this
that
big enough and it makes the squishy sound?
you're told by the station authorities that that the Romulan has been tracked. They have not tracked them directly, but they can tell you which sector of the station, the station that they were involved in. Now, they say that we want to question this person, but at the moment there's a lot of other stuff going on, and we would need help. So, would it be possible for some of your security guards to be deputised to look for these people?
Yep. Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send some red shirts.
Take
To
Wesley with you.
Yes, you must come
It's
with
good.
me.
It's good with Romulans.
On account of our
You want me to go?
relationship.
Oh, that reminds me.
Okay.
Somebody posted a scene of Kirk talking to a bunch of red shirts. They said, "Right, who's going to drive Trump around the block?"
Oh dear.
Poor Richard.
My brother was just astonished with that. He's like, what else can the guy actually do? Is he going to lick people?
He didn't have COVID. There's no way he had
No, he did have
He
COVID.
totally has
Is this
COVID.
my official figure?
COVID.
That's your, no, that's Dave.
More than half the White
This is-
House
this is
has
your-
COVID at this point.
Actually, it is not exaggerated. It's not. As I was using hyperbole earlier today. But my daughter pointed out it wasn't hyperbole. It was literally true that the White House is getting more people per day with COVID than
There's-
Australia.
Yes, and they're the biggest hotspot in the entire Washington DC area right now.
It's just
The
To
road,
answer
it's
your
a cloud
question,
fudge.
it's not Trump licking people. It's Trump with his known tendency for sexual assault, self-admitted, although he then denies it afterwards, of going up and kissing people and giving tongues.
Oh, that's wrong at so many levels. And the worst thing about it is, I can't think of anything to say it's not going to happen.
You actually see the Rose
What's going
Garden
in this world,
footage. He's
Kathy?
going around kissing everybody. So yes, he literally is licking people.
yeah, the Rose Garden super spreader event, without a doubt. And Rudy Giuliani was on Fox News the other day. He looked very unwell. He looked
Yes, he
very,
did not look good
very
at all.
unwell.
Oh my goodness.
He hasn't yet tested positive for COVID, but I think it's just a matter of
Has he
time.
even gone and gotten
Well, if
tested?
he
That's
is,
the real
if he is
question.
sick, he
Oh,
would
he
know
has,
whether
okay.
he's got it or not. He-
Stephen Miller's come down with COVID.
The other thing I was going to say
Yeah,
is,
yeah, I hope he dies of it.
wow. Probably you don't want that on the video.
Yes, I do.
Hello, we don't like Hitler as well.
We don't like tin pot little fascists. We hope they die.
I'm glad Mugabe is dead.
Meanwhile,
So I'm going to go with the security detail.
yeah, okay, so you've got the security detail and, okay,
No, they're the Romulans.
okay,
I don't want to go with them.
no, you don't want to go with them.
I may never come back.
Actually, I didn't say that, and I don't work for the New South
The
Wales.
coordinates,
Yes, me neither.
Yes, the coordinates.
coordinates you have detected
Yep.
bring you into a disused cargo bay.
Okay.
We love our non-racially defined overlord.
How many security do I have with me?
Well,
There is a reason
there's
why
only
I'm
the two of
staying
you
off
that
camera.
I've noticed.
It's just you and a malfunctioning phaser.
So
Yeah.
it's just me in one red shirt.
Don't
Is
mind
that?
me, I'm just
No,
redoing
one-
my pants up.
No,
Oh, you're with
a
me.
space ninja.
Oh, I'll be fine then.
I always regretted the fact that me and your daughter never worked
Off
out.
week.
Let's split up and search this area.
And then
I
they
walk
say-
away from him.
Okay, right. So the doors to this area are here and here,
The NSA agent says, I've heard it.
and there is also a door here and here. So where are you going to enter the room?
These my dogs? I think they are.
Ooh,
okay.
we
Don't forget you've got tricorders and do this, whatever
Where,
it
where are
is.
the doors?
Did you hear that one?
Let's just enter up there.
So we both come
The
out.
Yep.
NSA agent walks
But
into the
that's a
bar.
control room. It's all like blocked
The
off.
barman says, I've got this great joke. The NSA agent said,
Shouldn't
I've
we
already
enter by
heard it.
this door? Jono, I need an adjudication.
Okay, righto.
Isn't this a
It's
sealed
because the
room?
NSA
Yes, this is the sealed room. You look in there, you
The
scan it,
supposed to be
no damn thing is there.
So we
be
go
what?
back out
They're supposed to be
and we come out
monitoring
here, I
everything.
take it.
Yes.
That's their reputation.
So you use your
anyway.
scanny booby thing.
You know, you're the scanner booby thing? You called it that, not me.
Okay.
Oh, what's happening?
We've discovered a woman.
Is it the same
Okay,
one as
first
the
thing
cage?
she does is she fires straight away at the space ninja.
Okay, but I thought all
Always take out the
weapons
strong one first.
were banned. Yeah,
No,
well, she's
all
made a
wep-
mistake then.
wep-
hasn't
Not
she?
hers.
No.
Almost the opposite.
This is the Klingon world. All weapons are required. I think she missed, hopefully.
She hit,
Attack her with your
but
walking
you need
stick.
to dodge out of the way. So
What do I use for dodge?
Is there any cover in this
physics.
room? Is there any
Yeah.
cover?
no, you're in a cargo bay.
So, no,
It's
there's-
shuttle bay.
And there's nothing in the shuttle bay.
Well, it's a disused shuttle bay. So there's crap around, but not huge amounts.
not crap I can hide behind.
Not crap.
Okay. Let me stand up fight.
Ah, well, that's 0. I'm
Okay.
So he's hit
You're
and
dead.
stunned.
Yay.
Wesley and the Romulan.
Coming out from behind some crates. Right.
That's another 20.
And misses.
Yeah, now you can take them both out with your combat what? Oh, you're so screwed.
So where are we gonna find these two later?
I have 5 and 4.
They're going to be found in a crate
fine.
wearing bunny suits.
Yes.
I mean,
That's what I have you for.
Yeah, what's your flight level?
0?
Yep, 0. I attach my phaser and I put my hands up.
And because the Romulans walk up to you then, and because the Romulans don't use human standards of decent behaviour, they have got their own ideas about what constitutes decent behaviour. The lights go out
Yeah, okay.
with the sound of a Romulan disruptor.
It was going to happen anyway. Yeah.
they are going to wake up in a crate wearing bunny
Yeah.
suits. Why bunny suits, David?
After 4 days, we go, what happened to...
But the Gimp's
Whatever
asleep.
their names were.
Wake him up.
A short while later,
Gimp up.
a short while later, your stun wears off. It was only a very light stun,
Yep.
and you notice something is missing.
Oh, God.
One of the
I
sharpest...
quickly checked that I've got nothing missing.
I distinctly
bird, but this is
remember
all
there
that
was somebody with me when I entered this room.
One of the sharpest hard right turns in a film ever created. That whole sequence really is. It is so not what you're expecting.
What film is this?
Pulp Fiction. It's like, what is happening now?
That's pretty much the whole movie, though, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
Yeah, but that's a particularly infamous scene.
Captain,
Yes?
Miss Kitty is never going to forgive me now. I've lost her father.
He used the code word.
I think. Did he use his safe word on you or something? Is that.
That's the code word.
Yeah.
Self-destruct on the ship right now.
Hang on, has Peter woken up alone? Is that what's happening?
Am I not with him?
You're not with me.
There is a
Isn't the code word for that? Isn't the code
in the transporter room. Something comes to life,
word? The
and
code
a
word for
transporter being
self-destruct
materialises
is-
on the
if
deck.
Riker were here, he'd know how to fix it.
So, Wesley, whose turn is it to get the blue milk
Who
now?
is,
What day
Is
is it?
there anybody in the transporter room?
Why is everyone yelling at everyone?
Is the transporter chief or
The transport beam comes online, and suddenly a body materialises,
Oh shit.
and a unconscious con officer is there.
Okay.
He has a
lights are there?
small piece of light plastic stapled to his uniform.
I thought that was all you were.
Oh, it's a delivery. I better scan it.
and who is in transport room to actually witness?
Who's going to sign off on
Of
it?
the duty transport officer.
Right, good.
Okay. On the piece of plastic, it says, "Is it not fortunate that we do not wish to kill anyone? If we were not acting in good faith, this officer would be dead.
Well, where's
It
the
is
other
time
guy?
to leave this mystery unsolved."
Where's the other guy though? Where's the actual PC player? Where's playing guy?
That's him, you idiot.
Oh, you weren't saying
Urban,
that.
Urban, play the electrodes now.
I got the impression it was just some rando red shirt.
No, it's Dave's character.
Oh, at least I'm back.
I thought it was a rando red
Glad
shirt.
you're safe with
David wakes
so
up
much, Captain.
Does he
and
have his
rolls over
kidneys?
and realises that with him a tribble has materialised.
Oh, what is with these fucking triples?
Maybe I'm shitting out truth.
No, you're not. I bet we can't scan this fucker either.
You say that in game?
Yeah, sure, why not? With an African accent. I bet we can't scan. That's not African at all. What am I doing?
Jesus, welcome to Trinidad.
I'm not even going to try it.
No, don't be racist.
Okay.
No, you attempt to scan it, and of course you can't scan it.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's going there anyway.
I've
That's
become
Indian.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Ding, 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 ding.
Let's not recreate his assassination.
That's my assassination of him.
Oh.
That's better
That's
somehow.
worse. That is worse.
That's better,
You
is
don't
it?
behave yourself. Thought occurs.
Would you like to recreate that
Thinking
some more?
about the circumstances in which we have been accumulating these tribbles, is it possible that each one is a product of a transporter incident?
Malfunction.
They've been appearing even though
The-
we haven't even
The
activated
transporter just creates them.
transporters.
Yes.
How?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm just groping at this
Cloning
idea.
them?
So, thinking about these three tribble arrivals, are they even vaguely related in time, if not necessarily causality, to transporter usage?
You have at least one that's got no relationship to transporter usage that you know of. That's
Okay.
the second one you saw.
No, that's okay. I'll just dismiss that hypothesis then. That's good.
I'm not sure we've solved anything thus far, have we?
No.
This is the
We're
worst holodeck
in-
program ever.
Dark.
Turn it off.
We're in the dark.
You got a nice note.
No, I do.
Maybe you had a fun time there. You
I
just
did
don't
get some
remember.
DNA. It didn't
I
seem
did.
to do me any good.
You have a
though.
big smile on your
Okay.
face.
I'll go and put the new tribble in a completely separate jar in the lab. It'll be in
What?
proximity to the other one, but
Maybe
not in
It's
the
in
same,
proximity to the other one.
Maybe we
but
should
not in
give
the
it.
same jar.
You notice the
To
other
the
one is
Romulans.
empty.
jar.
Maybe we should give this tribble to the Romulans.
In that case,
Which
do
Romulans?
a first sample
The ones
with
in
the
the
tribble
ship.
I've got. How
I think half the
closely
crew
does
is
it
on our
match?
ship
Is it the
now.
same speakers or is it literally the same
100% match.
At what point do we start taking blood samples off
Is
each
that-
other and setting fire to
Is
them?
that type of match common with
Well, too
tribbles,
late
as
for
in
that.
they divide parthenogically and so they wouldn't
It
actually be
is,
all close?
it is very obviously and undeniably the same individual.
Right.
If only we successfully stunned them.
Well, you're on the ship now. You wanted to vaporise it, you could.
Okay, idea. It is the case that the electronic sensors cannot detect the tribble. Nevertheless, we have set up mechanical sensors like air displacement, etc., etc., etc. Did the vanishment of this tribble from its containment cage happen more or less simultaneously with the transporter event which brought back Dave's character, or has it been loose for a while afterwards, or
It
was
happened. It happened at the same moment.
It beamed in with him.
Hang on, what? The other tribble's gone?
Yes.
Is it the same tribble? Is that what
Yes.
he's saying?
Yes.
So the tribble got out of the cage
It was in containment. It was in the containment field.
to the thing. It's the same tribble.
Well, he went
No,
to
this
take
is the third tribble.
he went to take the tribble to put it in a jar next to the one that you already had,
And it wasn't there.
and it wasn't there.
Which is lucky because we only have one jar.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would have had to kill that tribble to put this
To
one
put
in.
the other tribble in there.
Maybe it left because it knew we were
There
going
was
to kill
another
it.
tribble, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I agree.
Are we sure it's not the same tribble?
It is the same
This
tribble.
is
I've
the
done a
same
genetic
tribble.
test.
But
It's
it's
the
the
same
third
tribble.
one.
How can you do genetic
It's the third
tests?
same
Oh,
tribble.
you're doing manual genetic
Yes.
tests visually. Yes.
You can't scan its genes, but you can do a gel electrophoresis on it.
Yeah.
God, that's very old
That's the
school
word
for
I'm
24th
looking
century.
Well, that's what we're stuck with because we don't have any equipment to work on this stupid thing
There was an episode where
unless we set it
where,
on fire.
where one of the doctors was really freaking because they'd had an accident on board the ship which knocked out all their technology, and they had a person with a broken arm. So what do? And the chief medical officer had to say, "Get some pieces of plastic, wrap it in a bandage." What's that going to do?
Hold it.
It's
in
called a
place.
splint. It holds it in place.
What did you you shot the first one.
Yes.
When did it reappear?
Now that's a good question. How quickly afterwards did the second one?
It was on the first. It was on the first episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I presume it was
that's
in
the
half an
question.
hour or so, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
It was. You found it in the cargo bay. You shot it.
First one was when we were replacing the damaged power conduit, so it would have been in a cargo bay because I was getting a replacement conduit. Yes.
So you shot it, and then where was the second one?
The second one was found outside when we came back from the dinner with the Klingons. It was lying beside the transporter pad when we arrived back in our docking bay.
All these tribbles have all been the same colour, haven't they?
It's the same
Yes.
tribble.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm, just
So
in case they've been
can
changing
we-
colour.
So the
Can
tribble
we-
is the key to all things.
Can we look at video from the room where the tribble was and see what happened to the
That's a
tribble
very good
before,
question.
please?
Is it the case that the video for the Tribble has been altered as well?
by the tribble? For it is an uber genius playing
You look at the time.
dimensional chess.
You
with
look at
us.
the time when
The
the
will and tribble.
when the time index when the tribble disappeared,
Yes.
and you notice that both jars are empty. No, sorry, no.
What?
No, because the second
Why
jar's
are
not
you
there.
We only have
No,
one
sorry.
jar. but they're
Why
both-
are you doing this?
Because I'm making it.
Harder.
He has already indicated that we have caused his plot to derail. He's making up as he goes along.
what are you
I
saying,
know
that
this
the
feeling.
video-
You get flustered.
No matter
worry
how
about
much
it.
we
So
derail the plot, numbers still equal numbers.
So the video shows there was never a tribble there as well.
Correct.
What?
So when we go,
Oh, yes,
when
we
we're
knew that.
testing the tribble,
can't
what do
record
we
it.
see on the video?
It can't be recorded on video or scanned or
Yes,
anything.
I said that earlier.
All right.
Yes.
So we were just doing this to fresh air when we were testing.
However, as Saxon is very careful, very
Paranoidly.
paranoidly worked out, they were able to capture that at the moment of transport, the air pressure in the jar went down a tiny amount.
Yeah, so it physically occupies space. So does this mean does this just mean that it's got that phasing technology shield thingy on it, and that's why we can't scan the bloody thing? We know it physically exists.
No, we can see it.
In a purely practical
that's
manner,
weird, 'cause we
it's
can
actually
see
like
it.
Urban says, it's the opposite of the phasing technology. We can see it, we simply can't detect it.
It'd be the worst cloaking device in the universe.
Could we
Perhaps
shoot
a
it again?
more important point
No one can
is
scan me, but everyone can
if
see
the Tribble
me.
teleports away and becomes involved in the transport event, something electronic must be able to sense it to actually summon it away from the jar and dump it on the transporter. If it
All
was
right.
totally invisible,
Transport it from the jar, the new one from the jar to the transporter.
I'll certainly try and set this up. Do you want me to science it?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, 3 pluses on top of my good. That's a
3
total of 6.
flashes. 3.
This is incredible. He's got incredibly good science, so he's absolutely clear that this is one of the more difficult transports he's had to do because he can't actually see anything to transport.
Yes.
But he cleverly comes up with the idea of transporting the Tribble jar and all. he can certainly see the jar.
And
So
the
he
triple in it.
Well, no, you can't see that because it's the video cameras. So he transports it onto the pad, and you have a tribble in a jar on the transporter pad.
Check the data. Do we have data on the tribble that we
Yes.
just
Is there any
transported?
residual data on the tribble in the transport buffer?
The computer says that you just transported an empty jar.
Okay.
But the transporter physically recreates things via their molecules. Therefore, it would have to have some sort of signature to do this.
The implication being that the tribble's presence is actually causing the computer to retroactively forget the information that allows the tribble to actually be transported.
So the tribble's not actually avoiding scanners, it's just making our equipment automatically forget it.
Yes, and that would be consistent with certain
to be
errors
honest-
in the memory when the.
To be honest,
when
it's the only thing that
manually
really
is
makes
fiddling with our
sense.
equipment.
It's I remember suggesting this early on that maybe it's not. It's somehow all our equipment is
Oh,
failing.
fuck, it's like those guys from Doctor Who. The moment you look away from them, you
The
forget
silence.
their
Silence,
existence. Yeah.
For some stupid reason, all our equipment is failing. It's like Schrodinger's cat or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you look at a
Schrodinger's triple.
video right now of it live, you can't see it on the video.
Correct.
That is correct.
So that's not a case of forgetting it. That's a case of
Or failing in real
The
time.
data's being erased as it's being gathered.
Meanwhile,
Doesn't work on our meat brains, though, does it?
Extrapolating
take it to the
paranoidly.
holodeck and try to reproduce it in the holodeck.
Have we asked you been about the trip?
while all this is going on,
No, we haven't.
I thought we tried to.
while all this is going
On
on,
the holodeck, reproduce a ship in the holodeck. Go to the holodeck in the replicated ship. Create
What
a
time- what time do I
transporter,
have to
beam
finish
it back to the normal transporter, and see what happens.
I suspect, like everything else, we're overthinking it.
Probably.
That's
But-
just as other thing as you've been about.
In the spirit of
I actually
overthinking
suggested
it,
Okay.
we put it.
Except the time Saxon suggested
try
it
to
before that.
illuminate it
I think
highly
you got
so we can
suggested
see it
game-
bright, and then try a pinhole camera obscura to see if it actually reflects. We actually see if there's a light in the jar.
John, I'm just going to go to the console
To
with the
test-
Azure
to
Beam and
test-
ask it if it can detect the tribble.
what is a tribble?
I promptly describe small furry creature that's on the ship at the
Thing
moment.
in this jar.
To see-
Yes, there's about 100 of those on the ship.
There's a. Oh, gee, he's talking about the crew members. I limit it down to the actual size of the creature.
Oh yes, there is one of those. It's in the transporter room.
It has very unusual properties. Our
camera
equipment
obscura?
can't detect
Can we
it.
see
Actually, it's not. He has it with him.
Sorry, my mistake.
Okay.
You have it with you. Yes.
I have it with me. Our equipment cannot detect this. Do you know why this is?
Most strange. Mine can. It smells of iron like you.
If you burn it, does it die?
Can we finish off what I started before?
Yes.
What did you say? Sorry.
Well, do an
Obscura.
optical test. to
Oh yes,
find
yes. Camera obscura. Actually, while we're at it, somebody hand that man a fake point because that was awesome. That wasn't the one I gave him.
Yeah, that wasn't the one. Oh my god.
Okay, yes, you do a camera obscura, and guess what? You've got a beautiful picture of a mustard and white tribble.
Okay.
So it works optically, it just doesn't work electronically. That's why we can see it. Or at least we're on the side of optics.
Yeah, but all of these devices that we're using have basically got computer memories that could just be wiped in real time.
Jono,
presumably.
I'm asking the computer what type blood does tribble have? Is it iron based?
Tribbles have iron-based blood.
Okay.
Okay, so
How long? By the way, what time do I have to finish up?
Let's say make it 5 minutes or 10 minutes to 10.
Five
That'll
minutes,
give you
That's
roughly
good.
half an hour.
Half an hour. That's fine. Cool. Okay.
can
Now,
I,
while all this is going on, while you're trying to figure out what the hell happened with this tribble, the rest of the world hasn't stopped existing, and
Thank goodness.
And by the way, when the transporter being started up, By the way, the internal transports in the ships don't concern the guys and if you send a device from one transporter pad in the ship to another transporter pad, that will not trigger anything from outside. They're okay with that. But they did notice another transport coming in earlier on from the abandoned bay to the ship.
That was
Is everything okay over there?
Yep.
Give a brief report.
Do you want to give a report to them of what you
Yeah.
saw just before you got knocked
have we
unconscious?
actually confirmed he is actually him though?
What?
Just to be
Yes,
totally
he gave us the
I am
same
me.
code word that you gave me.
I tell him I am me.
I'm going to take a DNA test.
Well, you know, GM might.
You take a
actually
DNA
be-
test, and it turns out to be exactly who he is.
Right. Okay.
Excellent.
Have the cleric cast a zone of truth and ask him.
That would be a good idea.
By the way, I'm assuming you didn't feel the need to take a blood test and do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I'll come later with the dribble.
I'm just imagining the poor bugger go, you want blood? Why do you want blood?
Yeah, exactly.
Thing the role-playing game.
Space vampires.
We have to feed the triple sometime.
That's
Why?
what'll happen about
Why?
halfway through
No,
the role-playing game.
We don't want to feed the tribble. It
No,
will
why not?
breed.
Let's see whether it actually breeds, and then we'll know it's a real tribble. If it doesn't breed, it's not
It's a
tribble.
real tribble. It's
Actually, no,
such-
actually, that's a good point. We should
Feed it.
just feed it enough so it breeds once.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that theory.
Then we'll have two
I will
of them.
hear nothing. No more arguments. It's a perfect plan.
I'm off to the pantry. Here, have some grain. I heard you like that. Eat.
grow
Is
large.
this really happening in the game?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's feed it.
We're
Why not?
feeding it enough grain to produce one extra
Okay, right.
tribble.
I was just checking you weren't putting it in the pantry.
No, I'm not putting it in the pantry. I'm not mad.
Okay, you feed the tribble grain, a
Enough.
very very small
enough,
amount of grain.
According to the computer, enough to produce one extra tribble.
You now have two identical tribbles.
Excellent.
Is this identical tribble scannable though?
You scan it, and nothing happens.
Right.
I don't get this.
Well, I want to see if
No, I get
Inherent
that. I get
properties.
that. I don't get this. How do you produce skipped, unscannable tribbles?
I wish my fire doctor wouldn't keep going. I don't get this.
But I don't.
Meanwhile,
It hints at a certain lack of confidence in his job.
all I can
Next he'll
think
start
of,
going on about the
all I
fun.
can think of is some sort of weird ass collective amnesia in our computer systems, which makes you think maybe I should be checking our computer systems.
why tribbles.
Yeah.
the race coordinator is asking to speak to the captain.
Please go ahead.
Is this the 0B?
Hello, this is station Omicron. Sorry, Omega. Sorry, my mistake.
You've been contacted by Daphne.
We were wondering if you could send up an officer to be a witness for us. The Romulans are trying to get their ship, try and get docking privileges, and we want to get answers from them as to why they've been involved in unauthorised incidents on board the ships.
Am I going again?
Yeah, I think you should go because I'm probably not good.
There's another kind of subtle racism.
Why are you not good? You're a
involved in
security
Star
person. You
Trek.
did a perfect job.
I
Which
have
is the
terrible
assumption
diplomacy.
that basically
In
every
real-time
member
and
of
game
every
time.
race is responsible for,
I'd like you to both.
for every other
Okay.
member of the
Oh.
same
But you'll
race
be speaking.
actions.
Captain, last time I went with him, I ended up naked and sent back with a piece of paper on my chest.
Stapled to your
What
chest.
just even happened to you?
Yes, Captain.
No, just because you are actually both witnesses to what happened,
Who's
and also
fucking ever?
you need protection, and you need to stop him from saying anything stupid. You're a perfect team.
Thank you, Captain.
Doctor's got my back.
No, the doctor
Doctor?
who had your back is dead.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes, he is.
You killed him.
No, he got eaten by
Oh,
bugs.
that was the doctor.
Yes.
You're not the doctor.
No, I'm not the doctor.
Who the hell are
Helmsman.
you?
I'm
He's the helmsman.
That's what
fly
you
the
do.
ship.
I thought you were second in command.
And no, I'm not even that.
Are
And
we playing Doctor
part-time-
Who? What's happening?
Part-time diplomat, apparently.
I'm trying to stitch my terribly bruised
my-
program back together.
With my diplomacy of 1, I'm apparently the ship's best diplomat.
You don't have. It's not about diplomacy.
Right.
You were both witnesses to an event.
You're,
Right.
You're dad of Troy.
And they speak seriously.
My
They
wolf.
want witnesses.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We can go and watch.
Okay, righto.
This madness fall apart.
Um,
Off we
the
go.
race authorities
Yep.
Trust my baby.
are holding a short hearing.
Yep.
Why does that one not speak and looks weird?
The Pardek is attempting to land, or attempting
That's
to
the name of the
to
Klingon
dock.
ship. Yeah.
The Pardek,
The
yes.
Pardek, yeah. Okay. I've got to keep up. Yeah.
The Senator Pardek.
Big
Right,
bird in
okay,
sky.
yeah.
If you're a serious Mad Keen Star Trek fan, that's a reference. So
The Senator Pardek.
Senator Pardek, yes.
Okay.
Did she marry a
Pardek
Romulan?
was the senator who was there during during Star Trek 6.
Okay.
So it's nothing about the name.
What the hell happened to Star Trek
So
6?
he's dead, and they named his ship after.
Is that the
Yes,
search for
okay,
God?
I think my elder
Yes.
brother would
No, that's
know most
5.
of this.
Oh yeah, that's 5. 6 was
I'm
the
sure he's
undiscovered
much more
country,
Star Wars,
where we had Klingon
Star
Hamlet.
Treks.
That was good. That's one of the best
Oh, don't
episodes
even.
ever.
Don't
What was?
even. Christopher
Okay, what
Plummer.
happened?
Undiscovered
Yeah, what
country.
happens? We're
Okay,
there.
right.
We're watching. What are they
Let me
trying to
see.
do? I ask what's going on.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to do anything. They will.
We
You're
are,
not-
we
hang
are
on.
here to observe.
You're not
so-
there. You're not there.
I'm not there.
You are not there.
Wait the
And
plot.
you made this happen.
When you arrive in the control room where they're doing this, you find Romulok, the one who had your little conversation with earlier on.
Yeah.
He's standing there, but all pretense of being the nice guy has been stripped away altogether.
Right.
He says, "I protest in the most strong terms I can possibly imagine."
This is the Romulan dude.
This is the Romulan dude.
Okay, go on.
These are unfounded accusations. Unfounded. I cannot for the life of me understand why you are letting this happen. This is appalling.
In the beginning, there was the Big Bang.
And so I'm going to walk up to him because I can't possibly make the situation any worse.
Is he one of the 2 that were there?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't. He wasn't one of the ones that were that shot me in the.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he
Oh,
was.
Yeah,
excellent.
he was there.
There's only 2 of these people running around the station.
Yeah.
He's the worst spy in the universe, apparently.
I walk up to him and I say, "It's good to see you again."
It is good to see you again. What's that got to do with anything?
I have no
What
recollection
seems
of this
to be the
person.
problem?
The Klingon who is in charge of the race committee says, "You are accused of attempting to sabotage a fellow athlete's ship." To which Romulok says, "That is outrageous. We have done nothing of the sort. All I have been doing is I've been trying for the last 2 days to try and get permission for the Pardek to dock, and all I've been getting is stonewalling and obstruction all the time, and I am sick of it."
Okay, so there's a race official
Oh, it's a Romulan ship.
there.
I thought it was a Klingon ship for some weird reason.
No. So there's a race official there.
The Klingons
Yes.
will often
I
bring their
tell
ships after
him
Romulan
in front of the
senators.
other guy what happened in the cargo bay to both of us.
I don't know why.
You can't prove anything.
I don't need to. Your nature seems to suggest that it would be true.
Ooh, that's
He
racist.
says to the race official, "Look at the racism. The Federation once again. Homo sapiens only club. That's all they're interested in."
I think he called you gay.
No. Not Romulan nature. Your personal.
Nature.
You're not even here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm
I
not.
say to the race
that- that-
official,
that's
I
what
think, I think if you check your
Bing
check your
Bing.
scanners, you'll notice that and I tell them the exact location of the cargo bay, that there was phaser fire within that cargo bay.
The Klingon nods sagely and says, "Unfortunately, this being a Klingon starship, that doesn't prove a great deal." disruptor fire in the
Yes, they both use
in there is not
disruptors.
exactly an unusual feature.
Okay, I'm going to take a diplomacy roll, even though I'm bad
Okay,
at
go
diplomacy,
ahead.
talking to this Klingon.
Yes.
I've never met any
let's
of these
see.
people
I've
before
got
in my life.
2. Okay.
What
And
people?
2 on diplomacy.
I
I'm
can-
going
I
to
have
say,
no
so I
words.
address
Can
this
you prove
Klingon
this?
guy. Well, I would say, I say to him,
There.
I would not
do
trust a
anything.
single thing that this Romulan is telling you. If he wants something, I would deny it.
If he wants something, I will deny him too.
What's your rank again, sorry?
There's a woman there as well, or just him?
It's just him.
Lieutenant Sergeant?
Otherwise
Is that
it'd
what
be
I-
him.
LTSG?
Senior grade, yeah.
Yeah.
Lieutenant, you have my sympathy. Romulans are not my favourite type of person either. But, our own personal feelings aside, do you have any evidence at all that we can help, that we can use to ensure that there is
We've got
proof?
a ton load of electronic. We've got
Proof of
we've
what?
got
What's he want proof
We've
of?
got a picture of the
What
woman
proof-
running away
Proof
and the
that the
Romulan running around
Romulans were
our ship.
actually on your ship.
We have that one piece of
They
video
shot both
footage.
of you.
We have video
They were there
footage.
shooting you.
Yeah, but we have no proof of that. But we've got proof of video footage
But
of a
I
Romulan
don't have
on
like
our ship.
phaser burn on my body somewhere from where I got hit.
We do have proof. He's just not. gonna
Unfortunately,
tell them.
they were on stun, which means it doesn't leave.
I can
No,
tell
no,
them,
no.
but you know.
You do have evidence.
Of course, we have evidence.
What evidence do you have?
We have the video of the Romulan running around the ship, pressing random buttons in the bloody brig.
You showed them the video.
Yeah.
Yes, we
showed
showed them the video.
Why not?
They were clearly using some sort of cloaking device.
At this
Ah,
point, Romulok is a little bit. His
We also-
arrogance is blunted somewhat.
we also have
Show them.
scrambled DNA samples.
You could also show them
Yes.
the tricorder that you used to identify them in the bay.
Do I still have that?
You both have tricorders with them.
They didn't steal them when they stunned us?
Well, all the ship's tricorders have got them.
No, the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll show them that then.
The
By
At
capture
this-
the cruise, I'm so happy.
at this
My
point,
ghost in the distance.
the Klingon turns
dead?
it on, and to everyone's shock, a phased Romulan appears in front of them.
She was
How'd
here
you get-
all the
Oh,
time.
okay. Yeah.
And beautiful as ever, I see.
At this point, the
Fortunately, I'm taken.
Right now?
Yes, by imperial beings. Or as beings, as the case may be.
Ethereal beings. Not beings, beings.
They're the worst type of beings.
You'll be pleased to know that this is now almost back to where I had.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Oh my goodness. Anyway. Now, what page was I
This
on
brick's an
again?
odd shape. Let's spend the next 5 hours investigating it.
At this point,
Pretty much what we've done.
That'll teach you to give colour text.
Damn right.
Romulok looks
right.
towards the Federation officers, nods briefly and says, "Well played," and then gets out his communicator and says, "Senator Pardek, 2 to beam aboard."
We won, I don't even know how. Excellent.
And the Romulans vanish from here.
Okay.
The Klingon nods and says, "Thank you for your assistance. Your assistance has been valuable and will be noted." Presumably, the Romulans will be sending another ship to participate in the
Oh, they
games,
qualified, okay.
but the Senator Pardek will not be participating.
And the Pardek's leaving.
Pardek will be leaving orbit very shortly.
Okay. I guess we can take our leave of the
You
Klingon.
didn't do anything. I told
I
you
do
everything.
whatever.
I still have no
Well done,
idea.
Wesley.
I still have absolutely no idea what they were up to.
No, we don't. It doesn't matter. They're gone.
Or how the hell they did it. Especially the tribbles. The tribbles have got me completely befuddled.
Tribbles are
So
I wonder how the Romulans
John, I
did
give
the
them,
Tribbles.
like, I give
Yeah.
the Klingon some, his Klingon.
You do,
name,
yes.
And we might as well be official and nice to him, and then we can leave. Let's leave before anything happens.
Woohoo! Several hours afterwards, the con officer has decided to
Tell the captain
spend some time off the ship by himself
I need my me time.
You're going to meet sexy
And
Romulan
the
space
Romulan.
babe.
at a small diner.
Oh Jesus! It's the
4 by
train.
4 foot.
A drink is ordered for him without his knowledge. A single shot of Romulan ale. The person comes up to the table and says, "There is no reason that current unpleasantness need continue. We are of a mind to let bygones be bygones. I hope you'll convey this message to your captain. After all, your word as a Starfleet officer is your bond."
I reply with, nature
never
teaches
forgive
beasts
you.
to know their friends.
The Romulan nods and walks away. And that is the end of today's episode.
Okay. You want revenge?
No.
For them humiliating you?
No.
The way
So-
they did?
So there's more Star Trek after this
Oh yes.
because it kind of felt like an ending. But that's
What do you mean? We haven't even done the race
Have we
yet.
actually explained what the hell they were doing? Or is that irrelevant?
You didn't figure out what the hell they were doing. And I was at the point where I'm going, I don't know what we're going to do with this. Can I say, you guys are fantastic to play with.
Was there a reason for them doing it, or was that just assumed and we don't care?
There was a reason, you guys didn't figure it out.
Right.
And you guys went off in all sorts of surprising, awesome, but very, very weird directions. So, yeah. But that's okay. I've got to think harder about which direction you guys are likely to think next time. But that's okay.
you look. This is always
Please write down your number of fate points.
I have
Which in
no
most
idea.
cases is
I have
so
no
good.
idea what this reference is.
Survive contact with the players.
exactly.
Wow.
You can't make too many assumptions.
If only they would do that thing I was hoping they would do, but no, they never did it.
Well, the other thing was, I was toying with the idea of railroading you in the direction, but I thought,
No.
what the hell.
So that plot is resolved, but we don't know what on earth was going on.
You did not solve the mystery. You solved the mystery. You were able to prove that the Romulans were on your ship. You didn't find the mystery of why.
I'm expecting our engines to break down halfway through the race.
At the
If
risk
we're
of
lucky.
You're so pessimistic.
At the risk
the
of...
risk of being
What else
mitigated,
were they doing?
We'll find
that
out.
plot line
Yes,
finished
exactly.
now?
That plot line is finished. It would have had potential consequences for you, but it won't.
Okay. Can you tell us what they were doing then?
No, wait until the scenario's ended, and then we can be told.
I will tell you after the scenarios end.
Okay, good.